Welcome to America's Third Party. Long live liberty. Welcome, good evening everyone. Welcome to America's Third Party and our Conspiracy Monday show. Very interesting time we're having right now. We've got people active in all different directions talking about politics after the Paris bombing, which has been a very disastrous event in Paris. Many people are concerned that the source of the bombing was ISIL. Many people are confused. If ISIL was the source of the bombing, then why does Barack Obama support ISIL? Now, this interview came out a couple months ago where he talks about his support of ISIL.
Was moving too slowly, but the fall of Ramadi has galvanized the Iraqi government. So with the additional steps I ordered last month, we're speeding up training of ISIL forces, including volunteers from Sunni tribes in Anbar province.
Okay, so let me get this straight. Obama's funding the opposition of the Iraqi government that we installed, and apparently ISIL has taken credit for this terrible disaster. So what's going on? I don't really understand. I wish someone could clarify exactly who's to blame for this, and I don't understand why the presumption is that it's a Muslim group that did this when Muslims died in this event. I'm not really sure. No, it was not an edited audio. That was an actual interview that Barack Obama had made, and he never corrected it. I'm not wearing a toupee. Yeah, many people think I'm wearing a toupee. This is my hair. This is what happens when I wash it. If this was a toupee, I couldn't do this. So some people are so completely obsessed with superficiality that they are obsessed with my hair. So I come into the show every day, and I'm like completely shocked that you're worried about my hair when there is a potential war between Russia and the U.S. brewing in Obama's camp, and Donald Trump is saying he wants to knock them out hard, whoever they are, jumping to conclusions like he does, knee-jerk reactions, with his plan to create deportation forces in America. My hair is important, but it doesn't mean it has to be the subject of your conversation. That's ridiculous. And by the way, we do interactive chat constantly. That means I'm reading from your chat while I speak. I don't read off a teleprompter. I simply read a chat room. So if you're wondering what I'm doing when I'm standing here looking at you, it's simply reading off the chat. Thank you. Charlie Sheen is going to have an interview tomorrow where people are alleging that he is going to say he has HIV. Now, a life of debauchery shouldn't mean to an end, where a person dies, because they've got all this incredible, these cocktails for people like Charlie. So I'm sure a lot of you are going to be praying for him. I'm wearing a jacket because I am trying to raise the shoulder height above my chair. Thank you. I am quick with chat. You see, if I stand here, I look kind of like I've got a big chair, or like weird shoulders, or like a 12-inch neck or something. So if I go like this, I seem bigger. It's like, hey, I'm out here in the middle of the orbit talking to you. Well, wash yourself off. We have a really good chat tonight. I know a lot of people are concerned about people targeting Muslim people. Believe me, as your president, I will not deport people because they're Muslim. Okay? That's my promise to the American people. However, I will be breaking up jihadist military groups that are currently hiding in enclaves in certain states. But we will actively go after them with a special force. Nothing to affect the average Muslim who's just living commonly in the cities of Dearborn, Michigan, going, oh, who is this Donald Trump? What kind of man is he? Well, I'm not like Trump. No, he didn't say the same thing. He wants to set up deportation forces. That's insane. That's like Hitler would do that. Yeah. No, I'm not getting a double chin. It's only when I sit here like this and drop my whole neck up. I'm incredibly lean, mean, and ready for action. Would you like to see my multiple facial three-dimensional construct? As you can see, this hologram is completely verifiable as unique and real. I'm a real person, guys. I'm not a facial contorted hologram. I'm a real person. Yeah. You're gay? I told you not to bring that up, Drag King. Although it is okay that you are gay. I don't talk about issues and then act like a class clown. No. I want to talk about issues. I want you to know that this is also an interactive chat room, which has been going on with 7,000 hours of operation, almost like a machine. So when I start the show, I develop a rapport with my audience, and that includes my viewership in perpetuity, people that are watching me well into the future. And I know that you are. Especially if you bought my DVD box set in 2025. We are not deporting Muslims. We are deporting the in-your-face Muslim pest. Oh, so you can distinguish between what a Muslim is and what an in-your-face Muslim is? I mean, who made you God and decided to give you authority, Meow TV? I mean, well, you are in France, and you do work with various elements of your government. I am not unusually giddy. I was incredibly busy today, and whenever... I'm not going to disclose my blood type. Whenever you're very busy, you tend to have conversations that are a little bit more high-strung right after working incessantly for 12 hours straight. And that's what I do. I work nonstop. I just don't get paid for it. Preparation H has some concerns about various Islamic beliefs, but you know, we're not here to talk about the belief system or the religion, because I recognize that they have the freedom of religion, whereas Donald Trump does not. And I'm not a Zionist, whereas he is. Sarah's out to, I guess, dinner with the gals. I'm not sure. She called and said she'd be home a little later because she was eating out. She didn't dump me. We're all good. Hey, so let's talk about the issues, okay? What is your concern about this Paris attack? Do you think it'll turn into a bigger event? Do you think it's the precursor of a war? Do you think somebody created the event to create a war? Now that's not uncommon, you know, for people who want war to create events that create war. So who would be the perpetrator here in the Paris attack? The people that want to make you think that it's a terrorist act, or the people that are actually terrorists? Have you asked yourself that question? Charlie Sheen won't be an issue till tomorrow on Truth Tuesday, when we will find out the truth about his HIV. But until now, it's simply rumor. Okay? Thank you. I know he's more important than Paris, but at the same time, I believe that, you know, you should come to some understanding about conspiracies when you talk about, you know, issues. Charlie Sheen is not a conspiracy. I mean, his whole life is basically, I mean, when you give a person $100 million and say, here's 2 porno queens to live with, go at it, and by the way, you can do whatever you want, it happens. Dave, when elected, will you deport all the... No, of course not. We respect all religions here. No, she actually has to go to an official meeting. But Don't make up lies. You know, I don't ban people that support Trump. I really don't. I haven't banned you from the show. You notice I didn't even purge that statement. Freeman Lowell is a fictitious character from a science fiction movie about saving the last forest from Earth. So if you're a hologram, I won't hold it against you, Dave. I'm not a hologram. Yeah, we don't need to realize anything, though, because we're talking about a political stance tonight, not a religious one. If this was a religious conspiracy show, I'd be going, oh, praise the Lord, we can talk about many conspiracies tonight. Let's talk about the Vatican. Let's talk about the secret hierarchy of the Ottoman Empire and how they're going to control the world. Let's talk about 666. But we're not. We're not going off the deep end. We're talking about things in a political framework. Okay? Thank you. I don't need a Valium. I'm nursing a cup of really good hazelnut coffee. That's your problem. And now you talk about cats. Wow. You have such an obsession with cats. It's unbelievable. Meow TV has a huge cat fixation. Well, the immigrants into Germany are stopping now. Angela Merkel has finally seen the light and realized you can't have an open border and expect your country to be a normal place for people to live. So Sweden is also stopping the immigration flow. So that'll send a clear and resounding message for the people that are leaving their hometown in Syria or maybe wherever, claiming to be Syrian, that they need to go back. You know that a story broke last week that 1 million refugees from Syria have gone back to their home area because Russia took lead and started taking out ISIS forces. You like David Beckham's hairstyle? That's nice. All right. Well, somebody in Sweden is realizing the conservative elements in many of these liberal commie states or countries has literally turned into a, kind of a backlash, because basically the liberal agenda lasts only so long until the people say, what the hell are you doing? And that changes things. And that's what's happening in America too. No. No, I was a little nippy, so I put on my thermal jacket here. It's a pleather jacket. Give yourself a little self-hug. It's a really warm pleather thing. Apparently it didn't kill any animals, but it said faux lamb on the lamb faux leather. So I'm assuming there may be a touch of lamb in it, which is kind of unethical. Yeah, I'm not packing heat, buddy. Hey, so let's get serious. What do you say we talk about conspiracies? Somebody said earlier, David, why are you clowning around? Why don't you just get serious? I would love to. I really would. Let's talk about how we're going to get a country that matches your and my view of what should a country be. A country that freaks out every time something happens, or a country that plans and makes preparations for its own people first and foremost. We don't have that kind of a country. We've got a country where they've outsourced our jobs so much that it's now a cliche. We've got a country in America where the media is almost completely controlled, and anybody out there like me in the blogosphere is considered a non-issue. That would include you too. Obama is a corporate shill, but I don't think you can really understand the Democratic Party until you realize, Busy, that the Democratic Party is entirely owned by corporations, as is the Republican Party. And a lot of you hardcore Democrats, Republicans come in here, and you just don't realize those parties have been bought off. Money owns those parties. That's why I've been trying to build this party for 7 years. America's Third Party. So when you look at the possibilities of a future where our country is leading again in job production and product production, you're not going to get that from some shill like Donald Trump, who really only employs people on the money that he gets from banks like the Federal Reserve. And you're not going to see Bernie create any innovations, because I think he was kind of shocked when they came up with Depends underwear that gave him a few more hours of relief during the day. He's not the forward kind of thinking person like I am, who will embrace the technocratic age, but at the same time put restraint and limits on the development of robots, AI, cyber police, police itself, the formation of a police state. We need some limits on these types of things, and we aren't seeing any leadership from Barack Obama or Donald Trump or Hillary Clinton on these issues. Nobody's speaking up for all of the overwhelming presence of police in this country except for me. I'm probably the only one talking about how all these police forces have received SWAT teams and SWAT vehicles. We've militarized our local law enforcement so that we now have a quasi-police state everywhere you go. And they violated posse comitatus, which is an act that was preventing the army from using their war machinery against its own people in cities in this country. So now we are looking at a police state in the formation stage of a totalitarian takeover of all of us. And that's where we need to step up, act politically, not violently, but politically, to stop this type of regime change that's been going on behind the closed doors of Washington, D.C. and the corporations that run the horrors we call Congress. So do you see me in Congress? No, of course not. I'm not a whore. I'm not a prostitute. I can't be bought. And that's why I'm running for president. Because all the other people out there, for the most part, are bought off. I believe that. Well, George Soros' $33 million won't affect me. Civil unrest will continue to go on, regardless. But we're not a part of it. We're working on the internet carefully, slowly penetrating a larger and larger audience with a very common and simple message. We need to find a pathway in the center of the political spectrum. That's it. We need to listen to the Republicans and the Democrats on every issue. Not just my way or the highway mentality like Donald Trump or Barack Obama or Hillary Clinton. Those people will just try to move the lever or the pendulum to their corner, and then the rest of us will be left out. And we'll have another 4 years of wasted time. Some people who don't understand the importance of running for president for a long period of time don't understand the effectiveness I've had so far. You know, reaching nearly 1 million people in a country that is completely censored is nearly impossible. And I've done that for free. It hasn't cost me more than the donations to this party. And I'm still the largest donator to my party. So I'm not heavily funded. I'm not a corporate pig like Donald Trump. And I'm certainly not in any way a person who would kowtow to foreign monetary interests like Barack Obama has. And many of you have been so demoralized throughout your whole life that your belief that somebody doing this from the comfort of their own home is a heresy. I mean, how can any average American ever elevate to the point where people actually talk about what's going on and what he's saying? You just want to be basically left out there with nothing yourself, apparently, because if you don't understand the importance of giving me a voice, you'll never understand the importance of your own voice. Brando can stop the Fukushima from leaking. Brando will solve Fukushima. Leave it to Brando. Yeah, well, we have a plan for Fukushima, whereas Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama do not. Fukushima is a terrible situation. It's out of control. 6 swimming pools full of irradiated water dumping into the ocean every day. And we've seen a general decay of the intertidal zones and the population of fish and marine life across the Pacific coast of America, up and down. I understand the southern Pacific, the South American areas are a little bit more protected from the water, but hey, that water is rolling all over the place. It doesn't matter where it goes. By now, it's diluted all the way up and down the coastline. It's Peru, it's Argentina, it's everywhere now. It's turning into winter. Yeah, we're all getting the winter thing. Yes, Jsaw, you can. My link to the donation page is at America's Third Party. And let me give you guys a little tutorial about the site. It's more of a utility site. You can chat with us on our Facebook account. You can go to any one of our older shows, like here's Saturday's show. It plays an archive every single night. If you want to catch our show from the previous night, you can just click that link. But most of all, you can actually see my zero deficit plan up here at the top. You can download our poster. This you can actually print up. If you click this page here, you can print this poster up and send it to your JPEG to your local Office Max or Office Depot. And I guess they're merged now. And they will print that poster up for $1 or $2 depending on how big you want it on color cardstock. So it's pretty cool. And you can join the voter revolt. You can put a poster like that in the back of your car. I got a little 8.5 by 11 one you can put behind your seat, and so it doesn't block your view. Inside the window, tape it. It's pretty easy, Easy to get behind a simple plan like this, but it's extremely powerful. If you want to get to the state laws in your state that affect me, to help me get on the ballot, you can just click on your state there, and every one of them has a different law. Every state has different ballot access law, which we believe is unfair, by the way. We believe it's a violation of our equal protection under the law clause. Recently, you see gay people getting to get married in every state. Supreme Court overturned it on the same simple premise that equal protection under the law. We should not have different laws to get into every single state's ballot. They should all be the same, but every single state is different. So if you have any questions, you can always contact your Secretary of State. Their number is right there. But in the case of some states, you can actually click the download petition button and have a petition ready to start getting signatures. You fill my name in, David Sponheim, and then get people's signatures in your area, and then send it to either us or to your Secretary of State, or both. So these are methods that we have already set up on our website to get this third party off the ground. If you want to be a sloth and sit there and go, well, nothing really matters, that the government runs everything, then we can't do anything to stop it, and we're all screwed, man. Alex Jones said so, man. If you want to be those kind of people, I can't get you to get off your butt and do anything. If you want to donate, I'll give you the clickable link to the donation page. Right down here, there's a grid of stars that have the donation button, and here's the donation button. You click on that, it'll take you to the PayPal donation button, and you can just go right there and make a donation. Alrighty? Thank you very much for offering. That's a direct link. Okay, great. Hey, Amber Sponheim. The estates held in trust by the executor by consent of vote. 48 hours before the Paris attacks, Twitter account posts death and injury toll from the Paris terror attack. Now that's very interesting. Thank you, Giraffe Brain. How is this possible, folks? If this is really an event that happened? Because we may have been looking at a staged picture earlier. I mean, we look at this picture of carnage. I mean, it's hard to even fathom the possibility that they predicted this would happen because they faked it. But that theory is still rolling out there. How does Giraffe Brain have this link? And he just gave this to us. This is of course, this could have been faked. I mean, I tend to believe that this is really real. But Superstation is not popping up. Yeah, I'm waiting for it to pop up, Draft Brain. Stebo, what's going on? Stebo's got something there.
Evening Express.
Amputee actors train soldiers for combat. Oh yeah, definitely. We know that crisis actors have been deployed. We know that because we've had numerous false flags in our country. Sandy Hook, Umpqua Community College shooting. All of these events were faked.
Weekdays 5 to 7 Eastern.
Is fake. But
this stuff looks pretty real, doesn't it? Yeah, she's just rocking. She's an amputee who has, she makes money doing this.
To share it with people. You think this is a gift? It is a gift.
Heather Morales lost her right leg to cancer when she was just 8.
So people like this have the ability to, be crisis actors. Very good point. Thank you, Stebo. Okay, Superstation. Here it is. Breaking. Death toll from Paris. This is very, very weird. Thank you, Giraffe Brain. Okay, we're pursuing a conspiracy that something's not right here. 48 hours before the Paris attacks, a Twitter account posts death and injury toll for the Paris terror attack. Breaking. Death toll from Paris terror attack rises to at least 120 with 270 others injured. Okay. Twitter is aflame today as word spreads a tweet publicly announced the death and injury toll for the Paris terrorist attacks 2 days before they took place. Now, tweets cannot be edited. The tweet can be deleted, but when a new one is posted, the new one bears the current date and time, so this tweet is real. Wow. This is quite a story you have there. Yeah. She'll be in a little bit later, Jaysaw. She's out on a meeting, restaurant kind of thing. MSM caught saying Geraldo's daughter was at both the stadium and the concert hall. Okay, Dabu7 found MSM stating that. Geraldo's daughter did have some statements she made. I remember hearing that. Okay, 2 seconds of searching. It turns out the tweet was a bot automatically creating headlines. So why would a bot create that headline? Especially when it's so accurate. Are you one of these debunkers that believes that everything is real? No, she doesn't go out a lot. She's, we go out. She and I go out. I take her to dinner once a week, if not more. Oh yeah, we had a wonderful, fantastic lobster dinner last night. It was incredible. I was so satiated with lobster and prime rib that I was like, this is incredible. How can life get any better than this? Then I woke up and I felt pretty good. A lot of energy. Lobster and prime rib? You don't like lobster or prime rib? Okay. No, the lobster came from New England, off the coast of Vermont, I believe. Nope, there's no radiation in this lobster. I'm eating most of my food from off the Atlantic coast now. I just picked up a whole stack of sardines from Scotland. David, archive.org is full of ISIS videos. I'm sure they're using the site to communicate. Really? Are you sure? Yeah, we need to verify. No, not really. The water of the Pacific Ocean is fairly separate from the water of the Atlantic Ocean. Have you seen a map lately? Have you ever looked at a globe? And I'm not fat, no. I'm incredibly trim. I have a sculpted physique. I'm not bragging, I'm just telling you. You're nice, David, if you believe that. Okay. Your niece? You're nice? I believe I'm nice. But you're in Scotland. Hello. Yeah, I'm eating some sardines from the waters off of your beautiful country. I'm trying to avoid the Fukushima crisis myself by not eating too much water-based ocean life off the Pacific coast. Looking cool. Well, they're not your sardines. I bought them and I paid for them and they were harvested off your waters, you scumbag. Trying to take my sardines. See what I mean? People are like, you know that in 3 days, a disaster would empty the shelves because of that attitude. You don't seem to care about anybody. Oh yes, the crown sardines are GMO free. All right, any other questions that you haven't decided you're sure about? Okay, so you're pretty much convinced that the Hillary Clinton is a shill for corporate America, and Donald Trump is a shill for the Federal Reserve, who loaned him 4 times when he had 4 separate bankruptcies. That's my view. The two parties don't want to talk about Fukushima or anything else other than, the main hit points of jobs, housing, things like that. We have all of that, plus the specifics about things that I think are really bad, like GMOs. Like the fact that they still use fluoride in our water system, even though many cities are opting out, like Des Moines, Iowa. We're still tracking this tweet that came out 2 days before the Paris attack, claiming the death toll rose to 120. If they have the ability to tweet information in advance of an event, I'm beginning to now swing a little bit more toward the false flag area. But I'm still pretty shocked by the actual pictures, the live leak pictures that we have here of the blood all over the grounds of the concert hall, the people lying in left and right. I mean, a really horrific picture. But, pictures can be fake too. Well, we need to focus on the green movement, absolutely. And I'm not going to forget about the innovations needed to create and spark the job growth that we need to get our country rolling. Job growth is essential for our nation, for the simple fact that if we don't have something to do and get paid for, we start to feel like crap. I know many people love their job, but then a lot of people don't like their job. So we need people who are enjoying what they're doing. We need a profit-sharing thing going on. So I've come up with a very simple plan to create a quick job solution, just temporarily, but it should roll out over a 4 to 8 year period, called the Homestead Renewal Plan. And that's on our website. The Homestead Renewal Plan takes up all the 11 million houses that are in foreclosure right now and gives people shovel-ready jobs that they can do painting of walls, fixing up houses, and eventually people can own a house like this. And we can have a solar rooftop solution too for many people around the country, and that's another area where we can trigger new jobs. But fixing up houses, creating a simple plan for rooftops that'll generate 30% of their electricity and give the government money paying them back over time. You won't have to pay for the solar rooftop. It'll be done for free. But it'll come out of your electric bill savings over a 10 or maybe 15-year period. You're paid $100 today? Well, I would consider buying some sardines. Ocean life may not be as prevalent in the future, so I would stack your entire closet with sardines and Vienna sausages. Yep. Not $100, but save some of it for just cash and, capitalization. Mackerel's good too, yeah? As long as you know where that mackerel's coming from. It's a mackerel. It's a miracle. You make $30 an hour working on cars, cool. Yeah, see, you can use your money wisely. Many of you are going to want to buy a little piece of property and maybe get an RV, put it on there. That's one way to go to establish, a safe bug out area for you and your family. But you need to start thinking about preparation. So building a little bug out bag for your car, or even near your doors so that you're all prepared. If anything does happen, you and your family will be at least temporarily prepared with a medical kit, something like that. Tuna's great, yeah. You know, you can do a lot of things right now with the cost of food still being, well, unless you know where you're looking, you're going to get ripped off. Thank you. Yeah, you will definitely get ripped off if you go to a big store and buy this stuff straight up. I buy it at wholesale food stores. And we're very fortunate in Washington. We've got a couple of really good wholesale food stores that we buy from. But I was getting those sardines off the coast of Scotland for 50 cents a can yesterday. I'm all set with the jacket, you know, and everything. Yeah, things are good. But, you know, I'm a very simple person. I don't have a lot of expensive needs. When I eat lobster and prime rib, it's like a real rarity. Or not really. I've been doing that fairly often lately. But no, it's not something I really crave, the luxury thing. It really isn't. I can live off a can of tuna and some, you know, noodles and cook it on a stove in my Motel 6. I'm not that particular. I consider myself a doomsday prepper. No, it's a black shirt and it's a black jacket. You just can't tell because of the lighting, I guess. It's a leather chair. But I think everything's pleather. I don't think there's any actual real leather here. Busted. Totally proven beyond belief. Okay, dude. Totally no way Jose has proof that the French government has faked this attack. Here we go. I knew this information would be rolling out tonight. We've got our debunkers and our conspiracy theorists working double time to validate everything. Let's see what we got. Busted. Totally proven beyond all doubt. The French government staged the attacks, rounded up the future victims. After we definitely have a lot of dead people in these terror attacks, it looks like none died in the name of Islam. I might get blasted off the web for reporting this, but it is a cold hard fact. It came across the television while I'm not sure why this site is chopping me. Oh, that's great. Let's keep an eye on the distribution of deaths to find out. Well, dude, I mean, anybody can write a story and claim it's debunking it, but what exactly is it? All right. That's next to impossible to iterate at this point. I have to digest this. It'll take me a while. No way Jose has a YouTube video. Okay. ISIS is financed from 40 countries, including G20 members, according to Putin's full speech. He claims ISIS is coming from the G20, and that has been his position for some time.
Put Ukraine in a tight spot, in a tight fix. We've taken an unusual and an unexpected decision. Not only have we offered to restructure that loan, but we actually offered better conditions to Ukraine than requested by the IMF. We had been requested to postpone payment until next year, and I told them that we were prepared to choose a deeper restructuring so that this year we would not get paid back at all, and next year get 1 billion, next year to 2017 to get another billion.
Yeah, you know, he offered Ukraine an out. He offered Ukraine $15 billion. But the IMF and the World Bank was floating this $34 billion promise to Ukraine that led to the collapse of Ukraine, the revolution, the mini revolution that occurred there. Ultimately, was sparked by the IMF offering $34 billion, and by the way, they only ended up paying $17 billion out to the Ukraine. And obviously, his concern for Crimea was obviously ahead of schedule. So he pays $7 billion a year just to manage that small area that's a luxury area for the Russian government. The Ukraine war is staged, yeah. Yeah, the whole thing is being staged from both sides. You have copyrights on an emote? That's pretty interesting. Okay, another anti-war story. French Jews warned Friday morning of an impending large terrorist attack. So they telegraphed it. Yeah, the likelihood of this being created by an organization that's seeking a war with governments like the Syrian government is very possible. I mean, I'm not going to rule it out. I mean, I'm still looking into the possibilities at all levels. Okay, here's another story. A glitch in the Mexican media has given strong evidence that the French government murdered victims while in custody of the authorities. We definitely have a lot of dead people in these terror attacks, and it looks like none died in the name of Islam. Okay. A Mexican girl who died was confirmed alive after the Bataclan shooting when her family called her boyfriend's phone after hearing about the shooting in the Mexican media. Okay, this is the story that's propagating. All right, thank you for that clarification. So a Mexican girl who allegedly died was confirmed alive after the Bataclan shooting when her family called her boyfriend's phone after hearing about the shooting in the Mexican media. They tried contacting her repeatedly on her own phone and then tried her boyfriend's phone. He said he was with her and they were both fine. And the shooting was over. And now, after the authorities took her into custody, the family has received a report that she is dead. And her family is wondering how she is dead when they received a report she was fine straight from her boyfriend a considerable time after the terrorist attacks. Wow. And the fact that the CIA and Mossad and the French intelligence met 2 weeks before the event is another suspicious thing, don't you think? Wow, so there's a lot of tomato ketchup there. It's a fake story, you're saying? Okay. You're debunking the story now. And you're saying it's hilarious how gullible people are. Yeah, it's hilarious how non-critically thinking people are as well. I mean, many people believe everything they're told, and within a few seconds they're like, oh yeah, oh gosh, oh. Why don't we look deeply into this and who really gains from war? Who would profit from the war in Syria? Everybody's dead. Yeah, okay. Question everything. Who would profit from the war in Syria? Does anyone know? I know. Well, actually, our government and NATO actually are seeking a pathway, an oil pathway, through Syria. And there are people in our government, like Zbigniew Brzezinski, who put together a plan 40 years ago to take down Syria. A pipeline, access to cheap fuel. I mean, that's a serious motivation to take down a country like Syria. So that would necessitate an economic hit and a propaganda war against Syria. Yeah. Syrian hookers are not benefiting right now, no. Business is not too good. The story is fake because you believe a Mexican could never afford to go to Paris on a welfare check? That's the most prejudicial statement you've ever made, Preparation H. That's like you're too cheap to afford Preparation H for your hemorrhoids. No matter how cheap you are, you're still going to go out and get it because you've got hemorrhoids. All right. How are you going to take something down that you get your oil from? Well, we don't get our oil from Syria. But the fact is there is an area that has been looked at as a possible pathway for a pipeline through Syria and Turkey for some time. That's why our government is nesting there at the base of the country. It's so strange that we're invading a sovereign space and we're claiming that they're the offender. And Putin is going, do you have any idea what you're doing? He can't believe the foreign policy coming out of Barack Obama's mouth. I don't use spray on my hair. This is just hair, man. You couldn't get this effect with spray. If you put spray on it, it would be bouncing around in unison. Yeah, it's an all-natural hairdo. No, it's just kind of cool. My hair is omnidirectional and has almost a three-dimensional aspect, which is highly unusual. You don't like my hair? Well, see, you want to talk about my hair and not about the world collapsing and the sky falling. Okay. David, why are they allowing ISIS to run the oil refineries, earning $50 million? That's a good question. Yes, go ahead. Oh, we got a call. Hey, you want to go live or private here?
No, I'll go ahead and go live.
Okay. So, what's happening, Mr. Shrek? How you doing?
Nothing much, man. Just hanging out. I heard you talking about the whole thing going on in France. Did you know that Geraldo Rivera's daughter was in France at the same time?
Yeah, I do. And she said she was in two different places, according to news stories.
Yeah, two different places. She was at the soccer game and she was at the concert.
That's pretty good. She was in two places at once. That lends me to believe that maybe Geraldo Rivera might have a daughter who's also working for the propaganda machine.
Mm-hmm.
Good point.
One thing I'm glad about, though, is that our governor, Doug Ducey, here in Arizona, decided to not allow the refugees into our state.
Great.
Along with Abbott of Texas.
That's right.
He's no longer allowing refugees either.
Yep. Syrian refugees are not welcome in 24 states. I'm so glad that they're coming out talking about, people need to realize our nation's run on many different government levels. The states have the right to nullify any initiative by the federal government on many different levels. And this is one of the areas I'm glad they're asserting themselves on. I really am, because I would never allow Syrian refugees into the country. I wouldn't do what Justin Trudeau is going to do with Canada allowing 25,000 Syrians in right now. I mean, and Barack Obama is saying he's going to bring 125,000 in. It's just, we can't even afford to take care of our own people, Shrek.
I agree, and trust me, I mean, and the fact of the matter is that they're already here, unfortunately. They're already here. The borders have been wide open. They're already here.
Yeah.
And it's just a matter of time, unfortunately, I don't want to say it, but it's just a matter of time before something devastating happens here. And God forbid it does, but
it's serious.
It's just a matter of time.
I know. Yeah. It's an intense...
All right, Dave.
Yeah.
I'll let you get back to the show. I'll talk to you later.
Thanks, Shrek. Take care. Bye-bye.
All right, good night.
Okay, yeah, that's seriously messed up that Bobby Jindal is letting refugees into Louisiana right now. We've got a neighbor down the street, not really a neighbor, but she's down the street a few miles, and she wants to bring refugees on the island where I live. She wants as many in as she can possibly get. It's like, what the hell's wrong with these people? They don't realize we've got a problem absorbing illegal aliens already. We've got an incredible problem with American citizens and veterans being left in the street, living off nothing. And they want to bring refugees in because they care. She must be high. This mentality of extreme leftism has literally turned our nation upside down. And now they're screwing up so bad they don't even realize they're screwing up. They're oblivious. They're saying, well, Obama did a good job. And Hillary doing even better. It's her turn. Oh. These people are the problem. They're brainless socialists, and they have no clue as to how completely distorted their views are. Trump has not contacted me, and please don't put my name after his. Thanks. Yeah, always put my name. Thank you. That's better. Appreciate it. All right, so yeah, coming up with solutions for the incredible job crisis in America while we've got an open border. The Democrats are literally letting them in left and right. No, I can't do a Syrian face sketch for you. I can tell you that I can alter the facial features of my construct. We could create a different look if you want. Possibly, like this look. I had this on last week. If you saw my archive video, I was wearing a wig last week. I'm trying these new looks, to try to, get a different kind of thing going on. I prefer my own hair to wearing a wig, but, I'm prepared. No, I do not have any piercings. Trump said yes to Syrian refugees? You got to be kidding me. I would never say yes to the Syrian refugees coming into our country. You think I'm a used car salesman? That's derogatory. So Trump is saying yes to Syrian refugees. What is wrong with this guy? He wants to get deportation forces for illegals and he wants Syrian refugees to come in? Oh, come on. I don't believe that. Oh, Jindal says, I think everybody should pay something to the system, as if that's virtuous. Yeah, like they have the right to tax us. I mean, come on. You simply read the 16th Amendment and you can clearly see they don't have the right to tax wages and compensations, but nobody has the balls to challenge this private corporation called the IRS. I'm very much of a humanitarian. Let me tell you what I am going to do for the poor people, the Syrians fleeing the terrible crisis. I have a plan to provide them immediate food assistance. We have a plan of airdropping food immediately in areas that are stricken with people fleeing and trying to find safe haven in other countries. So yeah, this is a real plan, and it doesn't have the... Thank you, refried bacon. I will try to do that. Smart of Trump to say he wants refugees into the country. What, is that a joke? This guy's all over the place. He's just looking for free press, and he's getting it because he's a total shill. This concept will actually deliver food a lot faster than anything by rail car. And anybody who actually believes that we're going to be able to somehow transport these people back to their home country on a train can look at Dow Chemical's human train that they constructed as part of their way of humanizing Dow Chemical. Choo-choo! So they can get on the human train back to Syria, and we can make a deal with Syria and with Assad and with Putin and solve this problem right now. A simple phone call to the CIA as president will eliminate ISIS as a threat. So problem solved. And if that doesn't solve it, we'll retask our army to work against the very thing that we're creating, the monster we're creating. As military commander of this great nation, I will be able to use our armed forces to veritably preserve integrity in our foreign policy and not allow these cretins who have absolutely no feeling whatsoever to enter into the spectrum of political thought. CIA should not be running foreign policy, period. And if you think we're going to open our borders now to people that the CIA created, not going to happen. No, we don't need to go to war. The fact is, no war has ever led to peace. Ever. In the history of war. This is how we create peace. Love. Love is a many-splendored thing. Yeah, so we don't need war. And that's not the answer. I'm all about love. And I'm not gay. Nope. A lot of you sociopaths like Meow TV, who claims to be a sociopath, says things like that biological and genetic warfare is the only way out. This is why you're a sociopath, because you don't care. You see people as objects, and you even call them zombies. Look at that. A man who's openly hating on Muslims, calling them zombies. Wow. We don't need an ultra-liberal commie like Hillary Clinton, but we also don't need a right-wing extremist like Donald Trump. There is love in the hearts of many people, and you look at it and see people who love each other and grow from there, and try to preserve the families that we still have left in this country. Charlie Sheen has male porn star friends? We'll be finding out that tomorrow on Truth Tuesday. Thank you. Hillary is a hawk, yeah. A commie hawk. And Donald Trump is a right-wing hawkish guy. And you know, it's really interesting to know that Donald Trump financed Hillary Clinton's campaign. Isn't that strange? If I were a Republican, I'd be a little bit weirded out by the Trump factor. But I'm not a Republican. Syria's oil is not our concern. We're looking at that territory. That's why we're pursuing that attack on Syria, because we're trying to take over their country. Our government is being the 911 police force for the IMF and the World Bank. We've been simply tasked to become their little henchmen. And our country hasn't really gathered any real integrity since the Vietnam War. We've been doing the bidding of the New World Order and the Global World Authority. We're not doing our own bidding. You think our troops need to go over there and fight other people's wars? That's ridiculous. This is absurd. Why would our country be over there fighting their wars? Because some rich guy wants to own some property and run an oil pipeline through a country that we don't even own? This is insane. There is no ISIS to carpet bomb doo-doo. These are paid mercenaries that are on the take. Recently, the government released pictures of ISIS Toyota pickup trucks. And the Toyota pickup trucks, you probably saw in the news, the whole raft of them. Somebody contacted Toyota and said, who sent Toyotas to the Middle East? And Toyota actually responded. They said, well, we've only had one large request from the State Department of the United States government. So the Toyotas they put in the ISIS videos are actually of the State Department? This is fascinating. And the more you look into this, the more you realize they're literally using propaganda tools to start wars. And if you're an intelligent American and you're a voter who doesn't want war, you're going to start waking up pretty dang soon. I know I woke up, and I won't just get behind the two-party system anymore. I can't trust those two parties. They're bought off. It's bad. And isn't it very interesting, too, that this factor plays into it? Muslims hate Jews. And according to many of you, Muslims are ISIS. Really? Then why don't they ever attack Israel? How come ISIS doesn't attack Israel? Just think this through. I mean, when you look at all the different factors involved here, you begin to see a different picture. You want to see something really interesting? Look at these hieroglyphs from an Egyptian wall. The Temple of Seti. Can someone please explain to me how that they had hieroglyphic images of helicopters and spaceships and tanks in Egypt? I'd love to know. Anybody? It is real. Can you not see? I do look at most links when they pop up, Scissor Fight. Have I been neglecting to click your links? I'm sorry. Someone's speaking the truth. Let's take a look. Thank you. Apparently no one can come up with why this hieroglyph exists.
Well, let's now talk to political journalist and author Gerard O'Coleman, who joins us from Paris this evening. Thanks very much for joining us again on RT International. You're in the French capital. What's the mood and atmosphere in the city right now?
We're being told that there's a state of war and a state of emergency. We've had this before. We had this in January, and for several weeks we had non-stop sirens and non-stop chatter on the radio about the threat from radical Islam and terrorist groups and so on. And so we're having a kind of a replay of that, but it has been, I think, accentuated, and we're going to have an intensification of the media campaign, which is essentially a propaganda campaign to make people in France fear Muslims. We need to be clear about the origin of the war on terror. The war on terror is, I quote, orchestrated from abroad. These are the words François Hollande used to describe this terrorist attack. Well, the attacks that have been continuing to destroy Syria, to massacre its population, have also been orchestrated from abroad.
Good point, yeah. We will be featuring that video along with many others tonight on our evening show. Thank you. Someone speaking the truth, yeah. Thank you. No, we're not a team. I'm not associated with the United Extremists. What's your input? What is your requirement? Well, if you believe the government has taken control of ISIS to end war, it's quite the opposite. They originally paid mercenaries to create ISIL and ISIS forces to start war. You see, the big problem is, and I think where many of you are missing the logic here as to why anyone would do such a thing. Nice. Here's an image from Indiana Jones. That's not the same thing, Beekman. The fact is, our government is desperately doing whatever the monetary elitists at the World Bank and the G20 and the G7 tell them to do. This has been going on since Bush and Obama. They're just puppets. So what we've seen essentially is an attempt to cover up a massive money laundering event. Now, they've had a number of areas where they've been profiting tremendously from currency, and these are the corrupt people at the World Bank, the people that have actually hijacked and taken over all the gold that existed when Japan and Germany were destroyed in World War II. Many of you may ask, where is that gold? The gold is in the hands of secret cabals within the World Bank. They will not give it to the American people. They won't give it back to America. The gold and all that money literally was snaked away by the World Bank. They then are running operations where they use our government as their henchmen, as their police force. Okay? Now, I just raised two huge areas of conspiracy. And none of you can answer this question, so I'm gonna pull it off so you can just think about the whole thing. They need a way right now to, instead of just infuse money into the system to finance the European Union, they need a way to actually clear the balance sheet. Because they don't want to pay that gold. They're holding on to that gold. That's theirs, they think. They think it's theirs because they hold it. They should never have held it. And we've got people we're going to play later tonight in our video. Karen Hudis is one of the former attorneys at the World Bank for 20 years, and she left because she saw this happening. We're going to show you her discussion about all that money, and that's all the money that was stolen by the World Bank, and how she believes we're going to get it back. Now, so far, the only person who's given her any credence is Rick Santorum, and you'll notice that he's not even on the radar anymore. Rick Santorum will not even post as in the debates because he's so far down the totem pole. But he's the only one who's actually listened to Karen Hudis and agreed with her, and even recently said that our country literally started ISIL. He's gone out and actually said that ISIL was started by our country, by Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama. So he's being kind of pushed away in the Republican Party because he's speaking the truth. Remember, the Democrats, Republicans are simply fake factions in our society that have been constructed as shills for the corporate structure so that they can implement their goals throughout the country and around the world. No, the campaign is strictly right here, right now. We are online every day, Sir Waffles, because I can't afford to go out on the road with all the death threats against me. Unless I had a team of about 20 Special Forces members, I really don't feel comfortable traveling. Okay, Merkel is a German ticking time bomb. She's allowed 1 million Muslims into the country. Yeah. Well, she recently said that she's going to stop doing that. 3911. You are Special Forces. Okay. Well, I can't afford to pay you, so. Greensboro, North Carolina. Residents sheepishly turn in their guns at police request. It's happening around the country. People are caving in. Wow. Right now that they're going in and seizing. Last year, the town of Greensboro experienced 68% rise in gun violence, according to their news and record. In response, the town held an event where residents could sign a pledge of nonviolence and turn in their unwanted guns and rifles and shit. Yeah, well, they've got a buyback plan in every state where they buy back all kinds of guns. It's what the police do. But yeah, it's sheepish and it's wrong for them to do that. The hieroglyphs may be essentially art imitating life, a form of accidental divination, the way movies influence reality, the way our ancient ancestors sought to use cave paintings or animals they wanted to eat in order to attract them to law. That is the most empty-headed thought I've ever seen written in chat, 827. Yeah, I've been in touch with Dr. Mount.
Folks, America is...
Yep. We actually talked to this man in 2008. We met him at the Beyond Oil event at Microsoft. I met him standing right next to the former CIA director. And Dr. Mount is an amazing character. I mean, William Mount has this almost an intuitive, savant-like knowledge of the history of religion and the history of our government operations. And I've listened to him numerous times. We, in fact, started our Monday show in honor of him, talking about conspiracies. And when I told Dr. Mount that it was called Conspiracy Monday, he didn't want to talk anymore. He wanted to talk about his ideas and not be labeled a conspiracy theorist. So we had a time where 2 years we took calls from him, and we featured him regularly on our show. I've been tracking him on the network that he posts chats on, and I call him periodically. None of the information I've talked to him about in any way can be verified at times, so it's difficult. I'm kind of on a tangent talking to him. Usually doesn't have any verifiability. So they're using Islam to turn you into an adaptive mind control victim. Yeah. Islam is very real, and it's very Marxist and socialist friendly, right? Yeah, good point. And they force people with this Sharia law to, do certain things that they would normally not do. You're right. They are using, the socialist and the communist left is using Islam as their method of manipulation of the population. Good point. Thank you, Sir Waffles. Finally, the CIA admits to covering up the JFK assassination. But this is so lost in the blogosphere that this story would never see the light of day in the mainstream. But I love the fact that you guys have such great links. Thank you, Scissor Fight. Yeah, this story really is evocative of so many stories where the government literally is now admitting all kinds of wrongdoing, but because we're not able to get this to the mainstream media, nothing happens. We even heard that the government acknowledged that Hitler went down to Argentina and was never killed in Austria like they said he was. They had over 200 pages redacted that were released from Freedom of Information how the FBI knew of Hitler's whereabouts in Argentina. Did that story ever get to the mainstream media? Hell no. Even if you have to wait over 50 years, eventually the truth will out. The suspicions that the CIA covered up JFK's murder have finally been confirmed, according to an explosive Politico report this week. 52 years after the president's death, declassified documents show that the CIA were in communication with alleged assassin Lee Harvey Oswald before JFK's murder in 1963, and they were monitoring his mail since 1959. And this story was suppressed, by the way, in the Warren Commission report. the fact that Lee Harvey Oswald was on the payroll of the CIA for 4 or 5 years doing an operation called Operation Monarch, which the CIA put together with the intent of killing Fidel Castro. Lee Harvey Oswald was on that team trying to deliver a poisonous brew of radiated material to Fidel Castro, or genetically modified material. I'm not sure if it was radiated or genetically modified. So yeah, it would have been pertinent to the Warren Commission that Lee Harvey Oswald was on the CIA payroll when he was targeted as the perpetrator, don't you think? Wow, thank you. Well, more than just a Manchurian candidate, McLean, Oswald was an actual paid patsy. He even said he was a patsy. He said, they made me a patsy, he said, and that was one of the last things he said, and then they shot him in the stomach, Ruby did. And then nobody, by the way, dies of a stomach wound when you get hospitalization. Almost always they're able to get in there and seal it up and stop the bleed. He, however, died out on the table. While LBJ was on the phone with the doctor, the presiding doctor. David, I have every right to condemn another man's theories. Yes. I believe that Michelle is a transsexual. Yes. I think that's perfectly acceptable at this point. I think it's time we just accept the fact that Barack Obama is gay and he's married to a dude. And you made a horrible mistake when you decided not to vet anything about Barack Obama or Michelle. All of you did. When you stood there and told everybody birthers, whenever they raised questions about these bogus forged documents he calls a birth certificate, you violated this nation's trust. You put our nation at risk, all of you Democrats. You should be ashamed of yourself. No, I'm wearing a leather jacket, a pleather jacket for warmth, but I'm not cold. No, I'm running a heater in the other room. We use zone heating during the winter, so we heat certain rooms that we want to, kind of reside in. It's really an effective way to lower your electric bill. If I ran central air, it would be like $400 a month, whereas zone heating puts it at about $100. It's pretty cool. Saving money is one of the keys to long-term survival. I would never, ever, ever hurt anybody, especially not Sarah. My prostate's doing great. Yeah. Thanks for asking. It's time for Obama to make a choice. Lead us or resign. I totally agree with you. Thank you, Scissor Fight. It's time, Barack. Either lead us or get the hell out of the way and let other people who know what they're doing, like me, lead this nation. Bye. Isn't it funny how no one's ever investigated the Cayman Islands for tax fraud? And we found out in the 2012 election, the debates, that Mitt Romney and Barack Obama both have sizable Cayman Island accounts. It's amazing how that never really got pursued. Yeah. Okay. They're talking about the horrific slaughter in Paris, yeah. We're trying to verify that it was a horrific slaughter. We know people died. We know because one Mexican lady said her daughter was fine right after the attack for quite a long time, and then she was taken in and killed. I don't believe that shredded wheat hair works. She'll be in just a bit, she'll be probably 8 o'clock arrival. Sarah will be doing kind of the after show for about a half an hour. Well, Putin claims to be living in an apartment in Moscow with a small paycheck from his Communist Party and his presidential salary. No, Beekman, she's still out there in Australia, my sister. Well, I wish people had the choice to impeach. It seems like our country isn't able to get rid of bad leaders. I would love to see the impeachment process moving forward in the Democratic side, but the Democrats are afraid to say anything because they'll be seen as a racist in their own eyes. My sister is not chipped. And by the way, folks, I will submit to an x-ray when I'm president on a monthly basis of my head. and body parts. This is not glue. This is actually hair, man. I just conditioned it, and I wore a hat today because I was outside and it was raining or windy, and it kind of pushed my hair down like this. Well, I'd submit to something non-invasive that would determine if I was chipped or in any way altered. As an assurance to the American people, that would be a plan I would put in place as president to make sure and verify that I'm not fake, robotic, or audio animatronic robotic candidate of some sort. I would never do that. No, my sister wanted to kind of travel around the world, so she took a trip. If you were, older and you wanted to travel, do it when you're young. That's what I say. You won't have the ability to go around when you're older and travel. Seriously. So she's still, in her mind, young, so she feels good. She's going to go out and do that. But the concept of having a robotic president the specter is extremely disturbing. The specter of a robotic president. And I would be remiss in not mentioning that Barack Obama does have a strange scar on his head that no one can explain. Neurosurgeons have looked at this and said it's definitely indicative of brain surgery. We're not asking you to have any violence whatsoever, so I'm going to ask to purge that. We don't want any violence in the name of a centrist political third choice. Third party is not going to be violent. Yeah, do not in any way promote violence. Well, no, it wasn't, because the scar goes around in a circle, and believe me, neurosurgeons have looked at this and said that it's definitely indicative. I mean, this is from an actual picture that was taken when he was standing there with this gay guy. What's his name? I forget. Whatever. Lopez. Well, Ben Carson would know. He's a neurosurgeon, right? He took a belt to his mother. Yeah. Okay. But there's other pictures of the scar, so it's not like one, aspect. There's all these other areas. Yeah, it's a scar, and it's indicative of neurosurgery. So if Obama's had neurosurgery... Oh, George Lopez is not gay? Oh, I'm sorry. I take it back then. I didn't realize that. He is gay or he's not gay? Does it matter? Someone said that they believe that they found some rubber bullets. This is how idiotic, naive responses propagate on the internet. They said, I believe these are rubber bullets. Can anyone confirm? Ferguson. He couldn't even spell Ferguson. And no, these are earplugs. Ferguson. No, I'm not gay. I would never even think about being gay. It's kind of abhorrent to me to think about laying with another man. It freaks me out, actually. But I'm not homophobic, although I don't like guys looking at my ass. Would that make me homophobic? Or just a person who doesn't want to be sexually harassed? Nope, I don't wear a rug either. This is my hair, guys. I mean, you see my scalp? Ding, 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 ding. That's a sure sign there's a scalp here. Okay? You need to realize I've got hair. Hair, beautiful hair, long, shiny hair. Hey, what's going on? You don't see a scar? You're seeing my hairline, you freak. Well, I'm not here to talk about my body parts. You take care of your hole. I will. Hey, No Way Jose has more interesting stuff, contrary to the official position. What's that huge long scar on Obama's head? Yeah. And is that why we can't see his birth certificate? He's a replicant. not really human. Yeah, the theory that he may very well be a chipped president is very much, no, I don't have a scar. The fact that he's a chipped president is very much a concern for a lot of people. These aren't plugs. This is my hair, you freak. God. I mean, how many times do I have to defend myself on my hair? Beautiful hair, long shining hair. Let's go to the Barack Obama Library of Robotic Presidents. A long, long time ago, there was a president named Barack Obama who lost control of his faculties and had to be taken in and created an alternative reality. Using modern robotics and the careful implantation of chip device, Barack Obama has been stabilized and no longer has those wild behavior outbursts which he once had at one time. This technology helps people retain their normalcy when possible. But don't you think the American people have a right to know that their president has a chip in his head? I'm just saying, man. I know you don't like to look at him. Hey, Dave, the wig is looking good on you. Dude, this is not a wig. What do I need to do here? I mean, should I lift my hairline and let you see that I'm not wearing plugs? You see any plugs there? Huh? Huh? This is my hair, dude. It's real hair. Real hair. Does he eat human flesh? I did not know that's one of the side effects of having a plant chip in your head. You get hungry for humans? Hungry for humans. Well, you know, I'm never going to have a plant or chip in my head or an RFID in my body. I just refuse. I'm not gorgeous, Beekman. No, I'm far from it. I've got all kinds of flaws. You just wish you were as good looking as me at your age. That's because you're jealous. I'm totally organic, dude. Yeah, in fact, I started the organic food movement. Not single-handedly, but... Oh, that's a good one. Not single-handedly, but I was one of the first pioneers in the marketing organic food around the world. Okay, so we've got some people out there that believe that he can start a war with Russia. And Barack Obama really should get in line with all the other ones who tried. He says, I will bring... Well, let's be clear. I'm going to bring Russia to its knees. And, yeah, Putin is a jackass. And then Genghis Khan, good luck, bro. Napoleon Bonaparte, LOL. And Hitler, no comment for the Russian front. Yeah, good one. Yeah, so Obama's basically, ironically, acting out of a simple response from his handlers. I'm still busily writing my autobiography. I'm hoping sometime in 2016 it should be out. I try to write a few pages every night. No, I don't know John McKay. John Mackey? I don't know anybody by that name, John Mackey. I've heard of a guy different name Mackey, but not John Mackey. I don't know. Nope, that's not true. 453, aka the Nazi. We even know your guest profile and how you behave. We've completely analyzed using a new technology I developed called ChatDar. He started Whole Foods? Okay. You are a Nazi. Okay. We've got a definite anti-Muslim perspective in the chat room. Look at this, folks. This just came in. Allahu Akbar, an omelette de fromage. Omelette de fromage. I don't know what this means. I mean, I can assume it means we're going to kick your ass, but I'm not sure if that's exactly the direct translation. David, do you married me? I'm rich. Well, if you're so rich, then how come you haven't made a donation to our party? Only U.S. citizens can donate up to $5,000. Get started with a simple plan. Thousands of dead fish wash ashore a creek, causing shock in Townsville, Australia. Yeah, we've heard about some massive deaths of fish. Even farm-raised fish are dying in and around New Zealand and Australia. This disaster around the environment is attributed, in my opinion, to Fukushima. But there you have it. Fish kill shock. A dead barramundi on the banks of the Barati Creek system at Zoronda, south of Townsville. We don't know what the cause of it at this point is, but sudden loss of oxygen in the water after a recent rain in the area. This happened in the Gulf states as well. It happened in Louisiana right after the oil spill, the Deepwater Horizon oil spill. I called up Fish and Game out there in Louisiana, and I got a very nice lady on the phone, a young lady who chats quite a bit on Twitter. And she told me, oh, there's no relationship to the death of all these fish and the Gulf of Mexico oil spill. There's no causal relationship. Oh, okay, so dumping millions and millions of gallons of oil in the ocean won't affect the oxygenation level? And then dumping benzene corrects it all over it? Yeah. She said, no, there's no connection whatsoever. Really? Okay, we've got some really interesting clips from various guys here. This just came in from Scissor Fight. Modern parenting, free-range parenting. 1965, the kids are swing sets, Parents of the Year award. 2015, my, how times have changed. Nobody's on the swing set. Parents are being charged with neglect and child endangerment. There's an organization I'm going to get rid of. Talk about a dysfunctional organization. Oh my God. CPS, Child Protective Services. There are so many marks against this agency, it's not even funny. It's sick. Over 1,000 kids a year die from torture under the auspices of Child Protective Services. 1,000 kids die of torture a year. I agree, Corexit was a toxic chemical that did more harm than good, and I'm sure it was related to the death of those fish, but she just completely blew me off. She said, oh no. You know, 1/10,000th of a 1/100,000th of a billion, 1/100 billion, it's just unbelievable, of a billionth of a part of plutonium in water will cause cancer. No, Fukushima is not a false flag. It's real. It is still leaching in water into the ocean. We're seeing a result of across the world of death in the oceans. If you people are that out of it that you don't even realize the marine life is dying and you're still voting Democrat, Republican, you're a complete idiot. Well, she has an opinion, and she's qualified to have an opinion, but ironically, the people most qualified to have an opinion are imbeciles. Scissor Fight is not a false flag planted here by the CIA. Thank you, Sir Waffles. Yeah, get some donations going here. No, I do not speak Japanese. Fish are dying all over, folks. I mean, you just have to look at the sites. I mean, Drag King has got more websites out there that he sent links to than anybody else, showing the death of our planet. And no one seems to know how awful the situation. We're already down the slope and we're sliding fast. That's how bad it is. Well, whatever. Drag King's sites are very believable. Let me pull up one of his sites that he's submitted that has a series of deaths on the site. It's a compilation site of all the death tolls of animals. It's absolutely disturbing. Extinction levels, where you're turning, you're seeing extinction levels pop up. So Charlie Sheen's going to do an interview tomorrow, folks. If you are going to be, tuning in, I'm sure he's going to do some television work talking about expected to talk about having contracted AIDS. But that's not a death sentence in any sense of the word. Could be, though. Okay, we're looking at here we go. I've got it for you. Okay, for all of you naysayers who continually forget that, the world is dying around you, here's end of times prophecy, animal deaths, bird, fish, end of times. I'm keeping the chip on the screen so I can talk about it a little later, but I think I could probably remove it for now. This is basically the back of his head, which is how important he is now as a president. He doesn't really matter in terms of the net effect our nation is going through. What he's doing is he's disturbing the natural flow of communications. He's started 6 or 7 wars in the Middle East, or civil crises, I should say. He is continuing the pathway of war that Barack Obama or that George Bush went on with Iraq and Afghanistan, and now he's starting war with Syria. But he's been completely ineffective as a president. I don't know, Trump might want to have an x-ray too of his head. It is disturbing. Can you believe that? I'm going to show you the picture that I brought to you guys in link form. Silverstack, you got a link? Okay. Thank you. I really don't want to play any those Allah Akbars things that you guys play. I just don't think that's appropriate here. We're American, okay? Yeah, end of death. These are animal deaths for 2015. It's just fascinating. Mass bee deaths, dying planet. And these are all current, folks. Massive fish die-off in fish farms in Vietnam on November 16th. 230 dead sea lions. I mean, let me enlarge this so you can see what I'm talking about here. Yeah, I don't really like those Akbar snack bar things, whatever they are. I'm not a religious person, so when you talk about religion, it's kind of harsh. No, these are not BS sites. Every one of them has been vetted and have peer reviews written about them. Yeah. Why don't you click on the link and verify that they're real so that you stop being an idiot? Guess 453? No, they're raising fish prices because they don't want you to eat fish. There's some areas in California where they say that the fish is not edible because of radiation. Yeah, who is this Alice Snack Bar? Yeah, I'd like to know more about that. Yeah, you checked them out on confirmed sites, and they are definitely real. Oh, come on. You're just saying that, Spaz Nation. You always say that. Well, you should be paying double for your caviar, Mr. Rothschild 2016. You got the money. She'll be on at 8-ish. Yeah, she's coming home pretty soon. She had a meeting at a restaurant. I'm not sure what that's significant of. No, I was saying Al Snack Bar. What is all that obsession with Al Snack Bar? No, she's meeting people. She's not involved with anybody except me. When you have a good relationship, you don't worry about somebody going out and meeting somebody else. When you know you can please someone better than anyone on earth, yeah, you don't have that concern. Al Snack Bar. Dave puts on a shirt and tie and leather jacket but wears no pants. Not true. Got black pants on too. I'm going to go ahead and play you guys a little video about Jack and Diane. I am 6'4". I am. That's not true. I'm 6'4". I weigh 225 pounds. All right. We'll play a little video for you. No, I'm dedicated to nonviolence. I'm the same height as Abraham Lincoln. He was a good guy, but he really got hit hard with a bullet. Here's an interesting story about China's empty cities, housing 64 million empty apartments. You know how we talk about China being this world power? They can't even fill their own real estate. They're so completely state-oriented and supported that they don't even have a real vibrant economy yet. They've got a lot of solutions they're going to have to come up with. Journeyman Pictures brought this little glimpse of China. I'll be right back.
These are satellite images of one of China's new cities. A sprawling urban centre, complete with public buildings, hotels and apartment blocks. And this is the view from the ground. 11 a.m. on a Thursday morning and Zhengzhou CBD is deserted. Shops unoccupied, hundreds of apartments uninhabited. All the shops in this mall are empty. Not that that worries the government, because they're simply more concerned with maintaining economic growth. And one way of achieving that is building cities like this one. The big question, though, is how much longer all these shops and properties can remain vacant. But all around me, the construction of this metropolis goes on. And here, in the southern city of Dongguan, yet another example. This is the South China Mall. Toy shop owner Tian Yao Gao is doing his best to keep his spirits up. But it's already after 2 p.m. and he's yet to serve a single customer. Do you get very lonely in here? But then slow days are what he's used to. When was the last time you sold something? His shop is a rare sight in the Great Mall. The majority of this vast shopping centre remains as empty as it did when it opened 6 years ago. Back then, developers boasted that it would become the world's biggest shopping mall. With plans for 1,500 shops that would attract 70,000 shoppers a day, the mall was heralded by the New York Times as proof of China's astonishing new consumer culture.
Astonishing. This video is not 5 years old, but even if it was, it's still not, they're not filling those buildings. Their economy is propping up the yuan. And their leverage on gold is pegging the yuan to gold. And they're facing some big fiscal crisis. They lost 35% in their stock market recently. How did the stock market fare today? Does anybody know? Well, let's be clear. I'll find out. Oh, we've got a visitor from China. It went up 237 points. Wow. That's huge. Yeah. Apparently, war is good for people on the stock market. They love war. Makes you wonder, why do they love war? Because they're bankers and they want to start wars. That's why. That's my suspicion. I know. I didn't expect it to be this screwed up. Okay, here we go. The Dow Jones Industrial Average is up and away. I do definitely follow stocks, and I can tell you when the dot-com burst occurred, thank you, there was an immediate concern that tech stocks were going to continue to tumble, but then along came Google. And did you know that Google is basically backed by a large shell corporation called In-Q-Tel? In-Q-Tel is the shell corp for DARPA. DARPA is the military arm advanced research facility of the Pentagon. So basically they said, okay, you've got problems. We've got cash, unlimited cash. They can print money up. That's how easy it is for them. Okay, Mr. Waffles, thank you. Sir Waffles has a video for me.
A great American hero.
Got an anti-Iran rally? Good. Okay, thank you. It's not old news. It's relevant news. Google is government-backed, and that's something that I think you need to recognize. When you analyze the social networks and how they're manipulating the media now, you know, I can't control racism. If somebody's racist, hey, that's freedom of speech, you know? Come on, man. You Democrats come to this party thinking you're going to have the controlled message like you do in your Communist Party of the Democrats. And you don't realize that we're not communists here. We allow people to speak. I've even got Chinese people writing me things in Chinese, which I have to then translate. Now, here we go. Ching Wei-san, you think you can hide it, you no avail. You are so full of fun wind, man, no matter where. There's just like fireflies in the dark, as indistinct as superior. So you think I'm full of wind, Shen Wei-san? Interesting. He is coming from Red China, where they have no rights. We at least have the freedom of the internet. Yeah, very nice. Poor guy can't even get anything sent out of his house without them watching him. We have D's nuts here. Okay. Amber Spawn, I'm Bradley, aka Alanis Morissette. Really? Pacific has some pearls of wisdom. He believes that Donald Trump has HIV. Wow. Spaz Nation, you can't report me because I'm not allowing racism, but I'm allowing free speech. I will do everything I can to purge racism. If you can give me a specific case in which somebody was racist and then document it, I will purge them. Just like I purged you, you scumbag. So everyone has AIDS now? Really? Hitler was hydrocephalic? I heard that was true. He had a hydrocephalic problem. So Rick Santorum, the guy the Republicans are pushing to the bottom of the rung, has a bombshell statement about ISIS, claiming that the USA created the terror group and are thus ultimately responsible for the Paris attacks. And this is why Rick Santorum is no longer being allowed to enter the debates, because he's clearly speaking the truth. The moderated and controlled media is so modified, it's almost as bad as the chemtrails modifying our weather. But Rick Santorum is the only guy that's out there speaking on the Republicans' behalf. He's issued a bombshell statement. Speaking at a GOP meeting on Saturday, Santorum said that President Obama and former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton are directly responsible for the creation of ISIS and ISIL. I agree with Rick Santorum 100%. And thank God for people like him that are willing to step up and speak the truth. Thank you. And thanks for that link. Thank you, Sir Waffle. I'm going to play it for a reason. Yeah, at the end of our show. Thank you. And we have visitors from China that I have to constantly translate, and it's such a bother. Chinese people, could you please go to Google Translate and translate your statement into English for me? Because that would save me some time here. See the butterfly operation, I know I was a bronze. See, I can't even translate your statements anymore. Beekman, you want me to watch this? Okay. I don't need to watch Hitler singing a Jefferson's theme. What's your problem, man? Hey, Super Dave. Well, you ask Rick Santorum what proof he has that U.S. created ISIL and ISIS, because there's an abundant amount of truth out there, 574. If you just want to Google information, World News Daily came up with numerous things, WND. Let me see if I can pull up something real fast for you. We'll get them in the octagon. I don't believe anything I read on the internet. I have to verify everything. And it takes me a while. It doesn't happen overnight, believe me. Well, the fact that you can't get laid is probably out there for everyone to see on the porn sites you go to. Southern natives send 300,000 Boer pioneer brigades. The wild boars are mating with each other. Yeah, I can't understand what that Chinese person is saying. You've been learning fluent Cantonese from watching Kill Bill? Very good. No, I don't have a hired monster. My cat's somewhat Asian, it's true. She's Burmese. She's a Burmese tortoiseshell tabby with some coon cat connections. Okay, you're claiming that 300,000 Boer pioneer brigades have arrived in the north, but a few days to run around day and night, wild boar and southern natives uncomfortable with sexual desire, mating with each other. I'm not sure what's going on in China, but it can't be normal for people to be mating uncontrollably like wild boars. The word, no, raccoon is not racist. But, you know, I'm not going to ban everybody I see here. There's no way I can, because I don't want to. I never order Chinese food and not pay. I always, pay first. Actually, there are a lot of buffets where you pay at the end, so I always pay. But I eat a lot. I remember stopping into a Chinese buffet one time on a road trip, and they walked right up to me after my third plate and forced the check on me. And I was like, why are you doing this? So, no, you go now. It's like, no, I'm still hungry. I know, it's just crazy the way the world is framing everything. I believe in political directness, not political correctness. I'm not banning anybody, that's my point. You go now. That's just an outrageous statement that you just made. I cover my own weight here. No, I wouldn't stay all day. I could eat 3 or 4 plates in about 10 minutes and go back for seconds. My first trip is 2 or 3 plates. It's hard to carry them all at one time. You can imagine walking around with a couple, 2 or 3 plates and piling them into your face. I can't eat MSG. That's my big thing about going to a lot of Chinese restaurants. They use MSG. All right, so we've been talking about a lot of things tonight. We never really got into the real conspiracies that are happening around the world. And I wanted a lot of you to realize that there isn't a lot to conspiracy theory. The real bottom line is that most conspiracy theory talks about depopulation. Oh my God. Mr. Hungry Man has got some outgoing. Oh my God, what did you get? Oh, look at that.
Wings and potato salad.
Oh, I'm
and
so.
olive toast.
Oh, I'm going to have a little bite to eat, guys. You get to meet Sarah. But yeah, most of those theories are all about depopulation, which means you and me. Thank you. I'll be right
I
back.
wasn't on a date. I just.
She just had a meeting in a restaurant.
A little meeting. That's it. Thank you. It was always nice, right? Hello, Giraffe Brain. How are you? How are you, Meatball? Well, I sure hope not. Babby Blue Boy Blue Bird, because I definitely don't. Why is that fan on? Ugh. I'm just going to turn it off for now. David can turn it back on when he's back in here. He did again? Really? 453? He said it was fake again? Well, he can ask all his questions that he wants. I am having a pretty good evening, John. How are you this evening? It was with people. It was with more than one person, Hollywood. Well, no, it wasn't KFC chicken wings. It was like... It was kind of like a tapas place. Alright. No, I will not do that, Sensitized. Maybe I will sell you a educational video. That's about that. Okay, thank you, 5105. I'm glad to hear it. Oh, you had to agree with him? That was good. David is the lucky man. Pretty much, Beekman. Pretty much what you see here is what you get there. That's pretty much it. David is who he is all the time. Why don't I, Rothschild? Why don't I? No, I've never thought of that. Because I'm a very modest person. Sometimes, Beekman, sometimes. No, thank you, Larry. I'm glad you made yourself laugh. Okay. No, Chicken, never. No, he doesn't accuse the birds of spying. He accuses he says maybe they're not really birds. Maybe they're actually unmanned aerial micro air vehicles. I don't, Beekman, no. I don't do that. He looks good in blush-colored cheeks. Oh, that's good. Really? Did that person get big media attention? Really? Meow TV 2? Yes, go ahead, Master Meatball. Enjoy. I don't think the cat is. Or if she were, I would think that, she's grown over time since we got her, so, no, the cat, I don't think, is a micro, is an unmanned aerial vehicle. Besides, she can't fly. Maybe just a drone. No, they don't follow me unless I tell them to. I don't have a side boyfriend. I only have David, which is great. I'm going to always be with David. David was telling me yesterday how much he appreciates me, and it was wonderful. I appreciate him.
That was awesome. Thank you for that tidbit.
You're welcome.
Super good.
We tried a few of different ones.
Yeah, I tasted it. It was great.
Did you try the olive and the
that was
thingy?
good. The olive on the bread.
Yeah.
That was so good.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, and he was saying, Sarah, I'm lucky to have you, but you're lucky to have me too. And I said, yes, I am lucky to have you. David brings a lot to the table. No, that doesn't happen really, Sir Waffles. I don't really talk about my political and I don't mix my political with my professional life. I have my role. That's my role. Slow your roll, brah. No. Probably not, Rothschild. Was he with one of those dancing women that he likes sticking dime bags? Did I see the G20 summit video? No. World leaders upstaged by cats. This looks cute. Alright, let's see this one. This looks really cute. Is it a video? The world is mourning the victims of terror attacks in Paris, Beirut, and Baghdad. That's cute. Upstaged by 3 cats. What would I do with ISIS? Stop sending them weapons! Ooh, she said it. I have to say, it's really ridiculous that we send all of these other countries weapons. Oh, that's cute. That is so cute. There, I'll play it for you guys again. It's the cat conspiracy. We are everywhere.
Yeah, I saw that.
I mean, especially, did you see this one? Obama and Putin upstaged by 3 cats at the G20 summit.
You want to play that? Yeah. We'll play that for you guys. Yeah, that was great. Thank you for being respectful of Sarah tonight, guys. Appreciate it.
There's a cat. There's the cat.
The cats have taken over.
And then those 2 go off. And then there's another cat coming to join him.
Wow.
They should just have the cat summit.
Yes. Hang on.
In Turkey. Here, you want to sit here?
No, I'm good.
In this chair, this wonderful chair.
That's a good chair.
Switch out.
Yeah. I just don't want to knock anything over.
I don't want you to knock anything over.
Somebody,
my hair is almost the same color as my jacket.
Somebody said I was 5'7". I'm 6'4". You know.
Cats would do a better job, it seems. I know. Don't worry. I understand the third party does need unity. I'm not doing anything. I'm very loyal.
Sarah is not going to do anything, and I'm not going to do anything. We're both very much in love, and we spend great time together. My hair is real, and I'm not wealthy.
You're welcome. Yeah, you like my hair on the one side.
I look 5'7" in this picture, though. I must say.
It's true, Bigman.
This is how I would look if I was 5'7".
I like David.
No, I'm not.
He's
this is
much
my real
better
hair.
than any man out there. Sorry.
I'm 6'4", and I weigh 225 pounds.
It's because of this chair. This chair is like higher than that chair. Here, I'll sit by David, and then David will look like the Amazonian person. And I look like the little what's it called? There we go.
Frankly, I want to just continue on the topic of the issues that are leading to this tremendous hatred around the world of Muslims. Everyone claims that ISIL and ISIS is behind this. Rick Santorum is claiming outright now that he's saying that the U.S. created ISIS, as I've been saying for some time, and that caused the Paris attacks. So many Republicans are wondering why Rick's not even in the polls. He's at the bottom of the rung.
Isn't that amazing, John Uncaged? David is now in the captain's chair.
If ISIS or ISIL takes credit, that's exactly what a government-led operation would do, is to take credit for the attack and therefore become the enemy of themselves. Therefore start a war that's unnecessary in an area that doesn't need a war, to only continue the threat against Russia, which is only pushing us closer to the brink of World War III. Charlie Sheen's going to announce tomorrow, Sarah, that he has AIDS. He has HIV. Not AIDS, he has HIV. AIDS is that when you get the full-blown disease. So anyone who's HIV positive doesn't necessarily have...
Why do you say that he's going to announce it tomorrow? I mean, saying you're going to announce something tomorrow is like, announcing it.
He didn't announce it. It's everyone around him. Apparently some of the women that he hangs out with, talk is talk. And, when you're hanging in there with a bunch of people that are actively speaking and chatting and twittering, I guess things happen in the house. Everyone probably, turned around and said, "Oh, Charlie, we're busy right now." And they're off twittering to all their fans on Twitter. And while he's sitting there, dealing with the reality that he's got to face the HIV infection. But that story has not broke yet.
Whoa.
We have a cat.
A man has been arrested in Texas after 6 people were found dead at a campsite.
Man. I don't even want to give the guy any credit. I mean, there's no time to even...
Well, I'm not going to show his face.
Let's not show his face.
That's for sure.
Well, if Charlie Sheen's announcing he's retiring from film and acting, that's fine. I'm only saying it's an alleged outing of Charlie tomorrow. That's what we've heard. David, he's had HIV for
Sunday
years.
morning when deputies
Well, so is Magic Johnson, and he's doing great.
Found a dead man.
The bodies of the six victims were found on private property outside Palestine, Texas, I guess.
Palestine,
about
Texas.
100 miles southeast of Dallas.
Wow.
Don't show anything.
I'm just showing this article. The bodies of 6 victims were found
The homicide
on private
is
property.
the largest in county history. A lot of them are family, kin to each other in various forms.
Okay.
They're not from the area. The deceased, 1 woman, 4 men, and a boy were staying in a travel trailer belonging to one of the victims. I can't see
Hang on just a
anything
second.
because you just got rid of what I was reading.
I know. And I'm going to go back just a second. Hang on. Go ahead. Continue reading.
There was 1 female survivor, according to police. They've not released the victims' names and ages.
So this is a trailer park killing? Is that what happened? Okay,
the
now...
suspect owns the property next to where the victims were found.
Guest 989 says he believes that Paris was a hoax or an inside job. And he said, did you see the fake video of a pregnant woman hanging from a window ledge for 3 minutes? Well, I did check the window, and believe it or not, there is a place to put your foot. But yeah, you're right. I saw that 3-minute hanging pregnant woman picture. But to say she was hanging, there was a place to put your foot. The metal bars on the window below you could stand on those. But you think it's fake? Okay. It's directed and fake. We've got a lot of people, point counterpoint on this Paris shooting. It's amazing. I saw the pictures of the blood and the guts, and then I saw people debunking that. Apparently there's a tweet 2 days earlier that there were going to be 120 people dead, 2 days before the Paris attack. There was a tweet that said 120 dead, 270 injured in the coming in a Paris attack, and this came 2 days before the event. So how could anyone tweet 2 days of an attack unless it was either premeditated, of course, or possibly a fake false flag event? You think it really happened? I'm sorry. No, it's okay, guys. We can still hang out at the third party and disagree on this issue. We both probably want peace. Neither one of us wants to believe our government would be so suspicious as to create ISIS. This is not a comb over. This is my actual hair. I have to lift it up every time I show people my hair. God, real people have died. Yeah, I know. And there was this one case where a woman contacted her daughter's husband, and her daughter's husband said, "Oh yeah, she's fine." She was at the concert hall. Her mother called her daughter from Mexico. Her daughter was visiting Paris on a visit from Mexico. She called her daughter and talked to her boyfriend. The boyfriend said, "Oh yeah, she's fine." And then she confirmed that the daughter said, "Yes, she's fine." And then she checked the government, and the government said 2 days later that no, she died. So how could she be fine at the concert hall?
Well,
she
did
was
she
completely
call
fine
during the attacks? I mean, what's the time thing here? I think there's a lot of
Yeah, there's a lot of information. Let's take a look at it.
Happen.
Let's bring it up. Does anybody have the story? Here it is. I've got it right here. Okay, take a look at this story. This is how the death toll from Paris terror attack rise to at least 120. This is set Twitter aflame here. I'm going to read it to you. Twitter is aflame today as word spreads that a tweet publicly announced the death and injury toll for the Paris attacks 2 days before they took place. I'll give you guys a link to this. You want to check it out yourself, but I have not vetted the story, but I'm going to look at it tonight. That's a little strange. And then the other story of a tweeting message. Let's see if I can pull that up. Yeah, it's a tough one to find. God, there's so many links here. Busted. Here it is. Okay.
Warning, the following image is graphic.
Yeah, the following image you're going to see is graphic. Okay, I'm just seeing. This is not the clarification. Okay. I'm going to bring up a clarification that was easier to read. But yeah, we'll get to the bottom of this eventually. Okay. We've got a lot of links. People like to send links. It's kind of amazing how much stuff we get, you know? Okay, this is the story. Okay, here it is. Thank you, everybody, for coming in, and we're going to check out this alleged conspiracy theory that talks about a Mexican girl. I'll read it to you. Noemi Gonzalez, who died, was confirmed alive after the Bataclan shooting when her family called her boyfriend's phone after hearing about the shooting in the Mexican media. They tried contacting her repeatedly on her own phone and then tried her boyfriend's phone, and he said he was with her and they were both fine and the shooting was over. And now, after the authorities took her into custody, the family has received a report that she's dead, and her family is wondering how she's dead when they received the report she was fine straight before that from the boyfriend. So this is a story. I'm going to give you guys a link to this too. You can look it up yourself, because remember, this is, inquiring minds want to know, finding out for yourself if what you're seeing is true or not. And I think the best aspect of the internet is our ability to keep looking for information.
They didn't say that they heard from her directly.
Right. Good point. Thank you.
So they can't say that they actually heard from her. Who knows that the boyfriend was lying? Who knows that the boyfriend didn't want to disturb the parents with the news that she's actually dead, because maybe he was feeling guilty that he left her behind. I mean, and was able to get out himself. I mean, to say that in and of itself would not hold up in court. That's hearsay. To say, oh, somebody else told me that she was fine and they didn't actually hear from her directly.
Yeah, it's called point counterpoint. And
maybe she did call during the beginning of the shooting when, like, maybe there was actual I mean, 100 people, they don't do 100 people and, like, there's 100 shootings in 5 minutes. Maybe they thought the shooting was over, and when they called, maybe she was fine, and they thought the shooting was over, and it continued after that time until they have an actual time stamp on the phone call.
Okay, I'm going to copy what you said, 504, because you synopsized it very well. You said people online are wondering how a tweet describing the current death toll in the French capital could have come out 2 days before the actual killings occurred. And the answer is a strange mix of incredible coincidence and dumb luck, people say. The account, now suspended, was a bot, automatically creating headlines using the tweets of a real news account called PZ Feed, Breaking News Feed, at PZF. So we are sure that this is a breaking news feed that came out 2 days before. It was encrypted into the system. You can't fake these things. What's going on, folks? What's really going on? We're going to be torn on this issue.
Grab parts of old tweets and combine them to make headlines.
It's hard to believe that they're coming up with the exact headline of the event.
I'm not making things up as I go along. I'm just putting out different different theories that could explain why things happen that people are saying.
Yeah, it's called point counterpoint.
I'm the counterpoint.
Yep. Sarah and I engage in point counterpoint on a nightly basis, so I'm not ascribing to any conspiracy theories. I'm just talking.
Guess I do believe that the shootings actually took place.
Yeah. And I do too, but I'm also a little concerned that maybe I'm looking at a picture with ketchup. That bothers me. I hope not, but then again, I'm a little concerned that they can alter photographs and do a lot of things. I want to see multiple photographs of that live feed. I want to see multiple angles. I copied right off his Twitter page. Wow. Thank you so much. And I know, just like you do. Brian Williams was there, and he has blow-by-blow descriptions of the helicopter attack. Yeah, the shooting had a movie's prop squib used on the hood of a car, right? Scissor Fight has that link. And we will be playing, as part of our dedication to this entire issue, point counterpoint, we will be playing a host of videos we've acquired on YouTube, like the one Scissor Fight just posted tonight. First, I'm going to play one that Sir Waffles got us, talking from one perspective of a person's beliefs, and then we're going to go from there into a series of videos.
It's from PZF, correct?
Yeah.
I mean, they have one that says Halliburton plant in Pampa, Texas, completely leveled by a tornado. I wonder if that's really happened. I mean, it's like...
Yep, I agree, 859. We've got a problem if the media alters pictures, for sure. Now, 24 states have refused Syrian refugees to come into their state, as they have every right to refuse them. Obama has promised 125 Syrian refugees could find a home here in America. The recent new president, Justin Trudeau, has said 25,000 to our 125,000 could come into Canada. Actually, by law, they do have the right to reject any immigrants into their state. Yeah, absolutely. Well, they're all listed. Well, of course, you're not going to be able to get one state to open their borders to illegal immigrants if that's the case, especially the borders facing Canada or Mexico. So if you have water vessels that come in, the Coast Guard works with state governments all the time. If you got boat people coming from Syria into New Hampshire, and New Hampshire says no, we're not going to allow entry into New Hampshire. They're going to have to go down to a state that allows them, like New York. I'm just telling you. And if you don't understand the 10th Amendment, Beekman, you got a lot of problems. Yeah. Fox Antonio, breaking tornado levels, Pampa Halliburton plant. Pampa. Well, the 10th Amendment gives the states certain abilities to control their borders. That's a fact. We wouldn't have state borders if that wasn't a fact. We would just have America. Boat people can be anybody on a boat, man. It could be you looking for a safe haven at a shore because you've been forced to. A tsunami could sweep you off your feet in New Jersey, and you'd be on a boat, and you'd be a boat person. It wouldn't matter where you're from. You could still be a New Jerseyite on a boat. You know what I'm saying? All right. Already
So
yet?
people were saying that they posted that on, November 11th?
Yeah.
Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm
2
going to
days.
go back and find it.
Wow, Sarah, you're really doing some detailed work. Why don't you take a break and enjoy yourself?
Should I show everyone what I'm actually looking at?
She's looking through the PZF's feeds. Let's take a look here. And see if all these other news stories are confabulated, like many people are saying. I don't know. Go ahead. She's looking through the feeds on November 11th. No, I don't want her to leave. I love having her here. I think she's awesome. Sarah's a wonderful addition to our show. I'm glad that she had a nice dinner and brought some home, and it's all good. Everything is beautiful. ABCnews.go says states refuse to accept Syrian refugees in the wake of what's happening. Our president has been incredibly cavalier and negligent of his duty to protect this nation. And I find it incredibly unfortunate that this president, who created the crisis in Syria by sending $500 million to rebel troops and a whole lot of Toyotas, now has the audacity to force those refugees fleeing that country into our country. You see, this is a willful attempt to create havoc by his presidency and his administration. And it dates back to all the way back to Benghazi and Hillary Clinton. David, I just went to a website that claimed to be an interview with you, and my virus detector blocked it. Wow, what's the website? Because there's a lot of bad people saying bad things about me right now, Beekman. Is there a way of searching Twitter
I'm looking at
like a find thing?
I'm looking for the actual thing. You can put it over my face.
No, I don't care.
Where's that link?
I can just put it behind me.
Busted, totally busted.
Hang on a second.
Trying to find the one.
Yeah.
Oh, it's PZ Books, not PZF.
Oh, it's PZ Books now? Oh, I'm sorry. We're confused, Pacific. That's what you saw it on? You gave me the link? That's the link. That's the Twitter site right there.
Let me see.
Here it is. Sarah found it. Thank you, Pacific.
No, you have it.
Pacific found it. You got it. So it's PZ Books.
And it does say...
Breaking. And this tweet came out. It's already had 8,000 retweets. That's like a record for retweets. How can it be fake? How can they come up with the exact death toll in a fake way? I mean, explain that to me, please. You're retarded? Okay. You guys are getting rickrolled? When? Okay. Political context? I've never even had an interview with them. Yeah, that's a fake site. You were apparently hit with a virus. There are people that grab information about me and create pages that are just not true. It doesn't matter if Sarah believes or not. I don't necessarily believe that this was a fake false flag either. I mean, I'm having a hard time with that. The concept of something so great, a lie so great and told so many times, becoming true, reminds me of a sentence that Joseph Goebbels, the propaganda minister of Hitler, said. This is who? Oh, hi there. You're going to bed soon? Oh, okay, come on. You want me to play a 6-minute video of a guy talking about his views so that you can comment on it? Sir Waffles? That's a bit much, don't you think? I mean, we've got a show to run here. We've got false flags debunking and all kinds of credible work here. He wants me to play a video by a guy named Original Colonel Alan West slamming Obama in New York, an anti-Iran rally. Best cheers video ever. Let's play it, a portion of it.
Who had a 22-year career in the U.S. Army. Lieutenant Colonel Alan West served in combat zones in Operation Desert Storm, Operation Iraqi Freedom. Please welcome former Congress member Alan West.
How y'all doing in Times Square? Hey, look at here. I'm not one of these highly educated, easily speaking, kind of intellectual guys. I'm a U.S. Army combat paratrooper. And this is what I want to say. This is the simple message that we should be sending to Iran. When Iran stands up and they chant death to America, all we need to say is, you first. What message are we sending? What message are we sending when we sit down at the table with the #1 state sponsor of terrorism? What message are we sending when we sit down with a country that is holding 4 Americans hostage? No different from the last time we had a weakling in the White House when we had 53 Americans being held hostage. What message do we send when we create this false narrative about either we sign this piece of paper that just the same meant nothing to Adolf Hitler, it means nothing to the Ayatollahs, or the only other alternative is to go to war. Well, let me tell you something. The United States of America is about victors. The United States of America is about champions. The United States of America does not surrender to a bunch of black-robed, crazed clerics that want to see us destroyed. What does it say about us? When we sit down and we sign an agreement with a country like Iran so that they can become an economic power, so that in 5 to 8 years, when the UN arms embargo is taken away, they can become a military power. And then in 10 to 15 years, they will become a nuclear power. But yet we stand up and say we're going to cut our United States Army by 40,000. We have the smallest Marine Corps since World War I, the smallest Navy since 1917, the smallest and the oldest Air Force since we created the modern Air Force. What message does President Obama send to these people over in Iran? Is not the message that was sent to Britain 239 years ago at Lexington Green when we fired the shot that was heard around the world.
Thank you. I'm very impressed with his speech. Very impressed, Sir Waffles. And I'm really glad that we had a chance to profile a short piece of it, but we'll get back to more of it later in our broadcast. Well, so why don't you go to bed and we'll talk about, the implications of his speech. I'm against the Iranian policies that we've had, the agreement that they put forth. I'm completely against it. Hi, guys. Welcome to the show. Sarah and I are looking at various conspiracy theories, point, counterpoint. We're trying to, do a battery of tests to verify credibility of pictures, authenticity, etc. The tweet that came in was the one topic we were looking at prior.
Alan West, correct?
Alan West, yeah. And I'll give you a link to that video, folks, if you guys want to catch it ahead of time. Beekman gave this link to us earlier. You're just getting warmed up. I hear you, man. Yeah, you're voting for him. Well, you can vote for me. I'm running for president. I can tell you that we have seen our policies completely get contaminated by this concept of bending over to Iran and giving in. When they were a terrorist organization that held our hostages for 444 days, Our embassy workers were hostages. And they are a terrorist nation. And for us to give them a weapon, a nuclear weapon in 1 year and 1 day, and $155 billion in U.S. tax dollar money is insane.
Somebody was saying if you look at the other stories in the same person's thing.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd save this here.
But it's a serious link. Just leave it there.
No, I'm trying to explain.
Yeah.
They're saying if you look at the same Twitter person, this. Oh, God.
It's hard to grab those when they're just pictures.
No, I'm trying to grab a link. Thank you. But if you look at this person's, here, I'll open up a new, another tab, which I don't like to do, but they're saying if you look at this person's information, like all their tweets are just like,
they're fake,
ridiculous. Great news, former U.S. What's that? Reports say there are hostages. What's that?
Yeah.
French police say one terror suspect has been found safe.
Well, this is
aggressive camel kills two people.
Can I address
and there's
this?
No links.
Can I address this?
Yeah.
Many of these automatic website generators are actually programmed. In fact, most of our news is being created by computers. So you're looking at the back end of a computer program that's spitting this out. That's what you're looking at, not some guy trying to get more hits on his Twitter feed. Yeah, 3,000 whole followers, fake. Okay. But the fact is, and it remains, he did post the exact number of casualties.
No.
2 days prior. That remains. That fact remains. You can argue whether it was a premonition. You could claim he's psychic when it's just a computer. Why would I turn guest chat off? When so many people are acting in accordance with our chat regulations, simply not demoralizing us or trying to demoralize our supporters, you guys have done a great job. It's a fact, I know. Even if the dates are correct. But the computers are capable of writing news stories, folks. They don't need actual broadcasters. They don't need journalists. In a couple of years, they will be able to replace any news journalist like Brian Williams with a robot or a holographic image. They don't need people soon. The news will all be generated artificially with artificial actors soon. You think I'm kidding? I'm not. The technology is screaming ahead to duplicate human facial features, as well as the robotic aspects are developing too. So there's not only fakery going on, but if these people are propagating a purposeful terrorist attack to generate terrorism so that people will have a war, then they're the perpetrators, the ones creating the act. Now, who's behind ISIL? Rick Santorum, the only Republican speaking up with my concerns that these organizations have been created by the U.S. They're not even human, I know. That's my point. Okay, hold on. We are advancing so rapidly on many different tracks that there's no point in disputing what I just said. It's foolish for you to even question what I just said, because there's ample evidence that technology is screaming ahead with both robotics and CGI. Holographic images are being generated in 3D right now from computer terminals that auto-animate. I can blow you away tonight on video showing you pictures of how they're able to make somebody say something when their mouth isn't even moving. No, hardly. In fact, I'm resonating the voice of reason here, and I'm the person who people are listening to. I'm not a sideshow. This is actually the birth of the free press right here, right now. We are right now seeing the remainder of what this country stands for, holding on to the free internet and using every single aspect to benefit you, the viewer, and you, the voter. Everybody's listening. And we've got 200 viewers right now that are thinking twice about everything tonight. We're going to try to hold on to what we got. We don't have much left. They have censored the mainstream media. They have done everything they can to censor YouTube and any affiliate of YouTube. They've done a tremendous job at promoting insane idiots to promote ridiculous theories like reptilian theories, to make us deflect or divert our attention from the real issue that they're poisoning the air we live in. They're poisoning the skies above us with chemtrails. They are literally systematically killing off the planet. Thank you, Sir Waffles, and thanks for that link. I'll play it again in full tonight. Take care. No, you don't kid yourself. I am a force to be reckoned with, and you're the scourge, the vermin that I'm going to be dealing with on a daily basis. You're the guy who doesn't want to do anything. You can be popcorn eating viewers. If you want to stay for our later show, I bring in all kinds of cool effects. But the bottom line is, I am not going to give up because somebody dislikes my viewpoint. It's crazy to think that thank you. It's crazy to think that you're going to be able to stop me. You're crazy for even questioning the audacity of any man speaking up. We are living in a country dedicated to free speech. They are systematically trying to stifle your free speech and shut anyone down. The people that are voting like a block of idiots, is either Republican or Democrat, are actually the problem. Some people are having a lot of problems with their anger and need to seek treatment. You were complimenting me. I'm going to gag you by calling you a purge chatter until you straighten out your act. I don't drink at all, so why would I ever be drunk? Okay, I think we've had a great conversation. Enjoy. Get some more, rest in.
I need to go get some ginger.
Go for it.
I've got a throat thing.
Uh-oh.
You can always put her on ignore, Drag King.
Yeah, you can use your ignore function if you don't like to listen to somebody.
Thank you.
Well, it was very kind of you to come in and share. I'm going to get a little more coffee before you relieve me.
Heat up your coffee.
Yeah, I'll be right back. Thank you so much.
Oh, good. I'm so glad. 7488 says, David, don't give up. I, for one, enjoy your show very much, and I learned something new all the time.
Thank you.
I hope I feel good, too. 5042-1. I think I need to eat some ginger. Got a little bit of inflamed lymph nodes right there. Hello, Happy Smiles. I like your name. It's nice to be happy and smile. I don't know if I believe that Twitter thing. I mean, yes, somebody posted that on Twitter, but that Twitter account just posts all kinds of gibberish. Kind of bizarre. They'd say laughter is the best medicine. True. Well, it's up to him to stay on it or get off of coffee. 7527. He says it is good for him because it's helps prevent cancer and things like that. All right, I don't really believe you, 7159, but thank you. Really, Smiley M. Chappie. Let's see. I'll just stop it. Hopefully it doesn't play on its own, does it? Good. I don't think so. Good. All right, I'll leave that for David. It's a date, and it's like, why is it there? So the dates probably are accurate, 885. It just grabs all this strange information from everywhere. All right, thank you, Swear Nuts. You bookmarked our show, so we'll come back tomorrow. for my own health. Why is it not healthy? David says, talked to me yesterday about how much he's so happy to be with me, and that's very good. I don't think so, 383, but you're going to see Rick Springfield next month in Riverside. Fantastic, Walton. It's a fantastic show, 50421. Very good. I think I will go get some rest when David comes back. I was sitting in the chair earlier, Big Perm, but now that I switched chairs, I'm too lazy to get up and move over. Don't you like my hair? I decided to make it a big croissant today. No, actually, I don't. I wear my base layer that I got from, I actually bought this awesome, fantastic base layer called Heat Last. I bought it from Cabela's, and that's what I wear to bed now. It's really comfortable, really soft. Oh, it's so wonderful and soft. It's fantastic. I probably do need. Oh, she wanted to ask, but it's Heat Last is very good. No, Sarah needs sleep. That's good. Anyway. The thing is, if you have this much hair, you have to brush it from the bottom. You start down here and you comb it out here, and then you slowly move the comb up the hair. That's how you comb out your hair when you have this much. I don't really mind because I live my life differently, 885. So anybody can live their life the way they want to live it. I don't know. I don't think I need the Van Hammer right now. Good luck with your search, Drag King is right. Alright. It's good to get all that out of the way, though, I have to say. All Paris false flags theories debunked officially. Thank you. Like it. Thank you, Meow TV 2. Well, I don't know about that, you're Drag King, unless you're with yourself, but if you look closely, they don't look all that much alike, apart from the fact that they all have brown hair and are crying. And in the past, journalists have already tracked down these three women, proving they're not one and the same. And then somebody's saying that they're also present in Paris. Ridiculous. Okay. It must be fake since the internet predicted it. This tweet, which was published 2 days before the attack. Here, I'll show you guys what I was going to do. Has been widely shared since. the breaking death toll. The account has since gone offline. In reality, this Twitter user is no prophet, just a particularly prolific guesser. The account generates automatic tweets, usually false and random information. Wait, can I?
No, yeah, absolutely. Go ahead. Continue.
It looks like news headlines, as this capture shows the premonitory death toll of the Paris attacks was pure coincidence.
Oh gosh, coincidence. I love that word, coincidence.
The account tweeted the same 100 for Ebola, for an attack on the Nigerian mosque, for a school massacre. It's also another prophecy is also widely circulated on the internet. And an internet user took a screen grab from a message posted on a popular website, juvideo.com.
Yeah.
Other photo editing software, he then changed the message's content. In the original message posted on November 5th, a forum user complained about all the advertising on the site. Seriously, we can't take it anymore. Hello, I've noticed that more and more forum users have been complaining about the full screen publicity. It's very annoying, it's outdated, useless, it annoys everyone.
It's a pretty detailed coincidence, I gotta tell you. You know, what is wrong with you people that never question anything? You just refuse to question anything? Is that the deal? You just cling to the hope that everything you're told is true? Yet every day in your life you're lied to? Yet your entire life is predicated on a lie? Yeah, that somehow you'll be rich when you know full well that you won't be rich. That rich people will somehow share the wealth when you full well know that they will never share the wealth with you. We need to build a coalition of like-minded people here. And we're having a hard time doing that because we all want to disagree on every single issue. But Sarah and I agree on every issue on our website. Every issue.
Well,
we don't take on these issues on our website.
This is a website sent to us by Meow TV2, and it says Paris attacks, debunking the hoaxes, half-truths, and conspiracy.
Yeah, I know. There's an ample source of... When they return to the word, it's a coincidence just to deal with a simple number matchup that is uncanny. The word coincidence is not a scientific term. I'm sorry. It's not. You won't find any science in the word coincidence.
Well, it's just like, oh, okay, we could say, David and I can say that William Mounts predicted the earthquake in Japan that led to Fukushima. Yeah. On the same night.
3 hours before.
On the same night.
3 hours.
Wait, though. Let me finish.
Yeah.
On the same night that he predicted that, he also predicted that there would be earthquakes in America. And that never happened.
Not that same night.
Yes, it was.
Really?
I can go back to that date and bring it up.
So he predicted 3 or 4 different earthquakes, and one of them was Japan.
5 of them.
Okay.
And one happened to come about.
Okay.
Is that coincidence, or was he? Oh, he's a total
seer, vision, man. Well, 10,000 people are watching his website on the end of the world and end of days, so people are listening to him.
Even Meow TV2 remembers that show where he predicted earthquakes here, earthquakes there, and then, there's an actual earthquake in one part of the world. Therefore, he must be a prophet.
How do I go to Paris? I can't afford to go to Paris. That would cost, like I said, I have to travel with a team of 20 special forces, which I have to pay for per hour. They work for no less than $65 an hour, so that's at least 700 times 20. It's going to cost me 15 to 20 grand per day just to travel. I can't possibly travel alone.
Hang
on, we have a visitor from the feline world.
Yeah.
The cats are wondering what's going on at the G20, and Amber came in to see what's going on with Mommy. She's screaming. She was very insistent on that, and I agree. There are a lot of people that make ridiculous predictions, and that's a site that generates thousands of predictions, and you have a valid point. if somebody's going to make thousands of predictions, could you show me all the different...
One happens to come true. Does that mean that they're a prophet?
No. What I want everyone to do, though, is I want you to go to that website, that Twitter site, PZF Books, and check and see how many other tweets that they made. Hang on, wait. Can I finish?
Yeah, you.
How many other tweets they made predicting like 119 dead, 222 injured, or 102 dead and 207 injured? Could you find all those other predictions that would be a random permutation that I could pull from to say that yes, that was a coincidence?
No, here is the coincidence, David.
Yeah.
The coincidence is they use the same numbers, but they use the same numbers in predicting. Here's what they did. They use them in the same numbers: 120 dead, 270 injured for Ebola.
Oh,
they
really?
published that on
did
November 10th.
Okay.
For an attack on a Nigerian mosque, published on October 6th.
So why those numbers?
For a school massacre in Peshawar, published on September 9th.
Okay, so if a person were to claim now let me just hypothetically, if they said that there were 120 dead and 270 injured in all these other events, then what is to say that if there was a false flag and they were to propose that 120 dead and 270 injured would be the magic number, that would also justify the statement that this is an automatic system that's being put out by a computer that spits out false flag information as well, and perpetrates the audacity of spreading rumors and propaganda in controlled media systems that only they control. Because remember, they control all the news. So it's a very ironic that even you saying that is also a justification and argument that this is a perpetrated act by a government agency, perpetrating not only a false flag, but also false stories on top of it. It's not a stretch, man. That's exactly how it's done.
Well,
that's exactly how it's done. That's exactly how it's done.
Now TV2 says in Chaos Theory, there's a working model showing that logic prediction based on similarities tends to accurately predict some events.
Well, there's also an argument that there's self-sealing theories and conspiracy theory. And this is some sort of a self-sealing theory that these people were all made up, the fictitious number of people dead, etc., and therefore it's a number that's also out there on a computer system. Isn't it ironic that it's 120 and 270 in all those different events that you perpetrated, or not perpetrated, but developed?
I didn't develop anything.
Well, that you actually noticed on the Twitter.
Yeah, it's on a web.
Why that number combination? Please, anybody, any feedback here? 120, 270. Could anyone give me any kind of numerical reason why that would be the number that would keep regenerating in every single modality? I can tell you why.
Why?
The computer creates the same news on a daily basis. And that's what I'm saying from the very beginning. The computer is actually generating this number combination. Even the propaganda story of a false flag generated could have been AI. I'm telling you folks, this entire event could be AI, including Jade Helm. Which, by the way,
bullets?
No, I'm not talking about bullets. I'm talking about ordering police forces to do a preliminary drill, which we know for a fact it was going on in Paris that day. A preparedness drill was going on in Paris that day. Department of Homeland Security, CIA, and Mossad met 2 weeks earlier. The timing here is more than a coincidence, believe me. And for you people to pawn this event off as a coincidence, and then the launching of a war against Syria, and for you to say there's no connection, other than, oh, those Muslims are all the perpetrators. Oh, you better think twice yourself, folks, and not just sit there and mindlessly accept everything as if it's the gospel truth, and they would never lie to you. Oh my God. Oh my God. If ever there was a person who ever thought that they were lied to, your entire world would collapse from under you. And yet you stand around calling anybody who comes up with a new idea a conspiracy whack job. That you're the ones to call people names whenever you can't refute a common occurrence of a numerical pattern like 120 and 270 over and over again in the news is absolutely AI.
And it wasn't
absolutely AI. No question about it. No question about it. But I appreciate your concern. I really do. And your passion. Well, this is great. We really get into a heated conversation on our show. I love it. Thank you. Cheers, everybody. Blinded by the teeth. All right, we're bringing our show back into play here.
Somebody posted a Vine, which is this is a video of the shooting from somebody's cell phone when it actually happened.
Okay, we'll do.
When it began, and I mean, but
when it allegedly began. Yeah. Okay. No. I'm towing the line here, Sarah.
What are you towing? Why are you towing this line?
Because there's a lot of people in here relies on good, credible, journalistic review on every issue. Well, no, I'm still of the belief this is a real event. I am.
Well, you definitely don't sound like it, that's for sure.
I'm a little concerned that events are not exactly as they seem. That's all I'm saying. Just like tomorrow night, we have a Truth Tuesday dedicated to 9/11, which many of you people still believe the 9/11 Commission report. Like zombies, like robots. You just like, okay, I believe everything I'm told. I don't have question anything. Everything they tell me in the news is exactly what they're supposed to tell me. I know exactly what's going on. I'm listening to all their talking points, and I'm a good citizen, I'm a concerned person, and I care about people. And you become like a complete automaton. And I don't want you to be an automaton. I want you to be thinking, cognitive, critical thinking adults. I do. I want you to be discerning voters, not a bunch of mindless propaganda fools who accept the line that they push for more war with Syria. That these terrible people, and you'll hear a lot of people, right-wingers like Donald Trump, who want to get rid of all the Muslims in the country, and of course he'll never get their vote. You need to you shut up, because I'll tell you something, you have the right to freely speak in my chat room. I don't in any way purge people for their ideas. Only trying to demoralize people. But seriously, feel free to chat, but hey, I have the right to broadcast this show, and I have the right to continue this discourse of pro-point, counterpoint. Thank you. Now, tonight we were looking at a leaked document you may think is just, some random event. It's like, oh yeah, well, why would NASA come up with a document that says the future is now? And they have this document that says the future is now, and it's the most horrific document you would ever imagine. It talks about how they're literally going to get rid of 90% of the population. That they're seeking war to do this. And they're also trying to create the environment to be a polluter and a cancer-producing agent so that we will all die of cancer. Now that's in this document that NASA produced. NASA. And the only person defending this document online, refuting it, is the actual writer.
Refuting it?
Refuting it. He says, well, what the lady is saying, what all the blog is saying, the only person who's saying you're wrong, the person from NASA who wrote this document said that it was written because it's a hypothetical scenario. It's nothing more than a hypothetical scenario. That's what they wrote. Well, Pacific, what we see with Trump is a despot who wants to do ethnic cleansing. We cannot allow our country to fall into the hands of a dictator like Adolf Hitler. And that's how Donald Trump is appearing. And what is more important is if our government is got plans to destroy the human population in documents like this, my biggest question is, what the hell? Why? So if you don't ask any questions, that's a problem too. But I agree with many of you people that say, well, gosh, you people doubt everything. You people all just say everything's a false flag. I get that. I understand. especially if everything was a false flag. That would even be more disturbing. But no, there are real deaths going on in America, but they're not profiled in the news. 200 people are dying every couple months in Chicago. The number of gunshots victims in Chicago alone is shocking, but we don't hear about that in the news. We hear about whatever is on their talking point list. You see, folks, thinking people can navigate through the empty space on the media. We can walk up and say, oh, well, there's still no picture of Osama bin Laden's dead body. Why not? What is this? Remember the argument it was going to create a huge caliphate if we showed his picture of his dead body? Well, now that we've got this huge caliphate, why don't we show a picture of his dead body? Still, no verification, no pictures other than a few little pictures to verify any of these events, and yet we are supposed to sit back and think, oh, well, we're in good hands with corrupt prostitutes for Congress members. We're in good hands with these two-party, literally it's a power play of corporate control. Thank you so much for coming into the show. No, I mean, I live off, the reason why I opened up Conspiracy Monday was because of people like Dr. Mount, William Mount, who gathers information from his head. A lot of stuff cannot be verified. But when you look at all questions that are going on in the world today, and you do not ask those questions that are being asked, you become part of the problem. Because you're not good, aware voters. You see? It's essential for us to have an enlightened, intelligent voting population. You cannot tell me to stop doing anything. Don't tell me to be anything. You are standing on a person's rights when you do that. Well, it doesn't matter, Pacific, because Trump doesn't really understand the severity of a mass lie perpetrated on the American people. Trump is part of the lie. No, I never lost it at all. I can tell you that if you want to stand there and believe that this document is just some sort of a hoax, that they would never come up with a document perpetrating and I'm going to be playing this video for you tonight, that they never want to produce something that would actually call for the destruction of 90% of the population. But yet we have 90% of the population coming out of the voice of people like Ted Turner. He wants to get rid of 95% of the population. Truly. I'll play you a clip of that. Yeah, Ted Turner talking. No, I am not a liar, sir. I'm going to play you what the mastermind behind our government takeover is all about. And why many of you people who think that these Wall Street executives are just no big deal, they're just benign little characters who have a nice little life in their leisure world community. Far from it. They actually are perpetrating and planning the destruction of our nation systematically by selling it to these New World Order authorities outside of our nation. Our country's so far down this road that I'm amazed I'm even able to talk about this with you on a nightly basis. Because there's going to come a day when they'll be able to hit a button and knock me right off the air. And that day's coming soon, by the way. You think not. Trans-Pacific Partnership is all about monitoring, censoring, and controlling free speech, as well as countless other things. But here's Ted Turner talking about wanting to kill 95% of the population.
We've got to stabilize the population. When I was born, there were
so what's wrong with the population? I mean,
with too many people. That's why we have global warming. We have global warming because too many people are using too much stuff. But if there were less people, they'd be using less stuff. We're altering the climate and the world in so many different ways. And what we're doing is reducing the Earth's carrying capacity so that each year the natural world gets poorer and less able to support the increasing number of people. We have a finite world, but an infinite ability to increase our population. We've got to stabilize population. On a voluntary basis, everybody in the world got to pledge to themselves 22 children is it. Right. And we've got to do that because otherwise, all the gains that we make in redoing our energy system are going to be erased by population increase.
So instead of balancing resources and improving the planet and making maximum use of our water, and the salt water itself could be converted into fresh water, these elitists who simply want to profit from everything they do and have built their entire lives off of profiting and exploiting labor, these elitists actually believe that they've got the destiny figured out for mankind. I have quite a few tabs open myself, but they're strictly for the show. I track a lot of links. So they're literally trying to control the destiny of you. And if you guys think that there's no secret plan out there, there's no such thing as a conspiracy, I have to ask you, has there ever been a conspiracy in the world? We just found out recently that the CIA lied about Lee Harvey Oswald being under watch by the CIA for years, that they lied to the Warren Commission report. We just found that out just a couple days ago. Okay, we're going to take you out of here. Any other questions? We found this out because the more we inquire, the more we ask questions, the more likely we're going to get to the truth. Yeah, he was a patsy, and the government will not play this story in the mainstream media. You won't see that story, I just told you. Well, we're not going to just do ourselves, we're going to do you too. When we're done with you, you won't even know what hit you. You just sit back and watch. The problem with sucking up to a corporate pig who preaches the New World Order Federal Reserve policies is you get a despot who could become like Hitler, no different. And with people that support Donald Trump, they must realize that his corporate connections are definitely enough to destroy this nation completely, once and for all, putting the knife in the throat of free enterprise, shutting everything down with their national socialistic tendency of corporate ownership. Now, I'm not talking crap. No, this is all real. And you Trump people don't understand that I can think circles around Donald Trump. I have twice his IQ. Donald Trump is a golden spooned, what I would call a plutocrat. And he's part of what is called a parvenu plutocracy, in which the ascendant youth, and in his case, the son of a guy who was obviously into some shady stuff, who was a Nazi, KKK member. Donald Trump would naturally be a Nazi or a KKK member. Makes up sense, right? His father being a KKK member and having, German roots, the Drumpf family, and then hiding his name. You don't see me hiding my Germanic name, do you? You don't see me saying, "Oh, I'm so ashamed of having Germanic heritage." There's a town in Sponheim, in Germany. 900 people live there. But Drumpf, no, he's hiding because he doesn't want to be associated. He doesn't want to be seen as a German. There's one of your worst possible people that come over here, change their name, and try to capitalize on their fortune. You've got a real corporate pig in the case of Donald Trump. And many of you who support him are absolutely insane because you're allowing a well, I'm not going to call him mentally ill. I'm going to just call him sociopathic in nature, because he doesn't seem to care about the common man. He only cares about his own corporate greed and wealth, and his entire legacy of borrowing money. 4 times he went bankrupt. He is so tied into the Federal Reserve and the New World Order that he is literally the linchpin of the problem that we're facing today. And he's driving votes to Hillary on a daily basis. More moderates, and people who are even completely I mean, total die-hard Democrats like I was for 30 years. No, I'm an American. My family's name comes from Germany. 1,000 years ago. But the fact of the matter is, I'm not afraid of my German heritage. I'm proud of it. But I'm not a person who believes that I'm superior to another race, or that I can have deportation forces going into every city in America and forcing you out of your home because you're Muslim. That's exactly what Hitler would have done. And what's wrong with you people that support despots like Hitler? I'm glad I got under your skin there, buddy. It's not homicidal. I'm merely being demonstrative and expressive. And if you don't like it, then you haven't seen anything yet, because I'm just the beginning. I'm the beginning of what could very well be a complete reversal of your old world dynamic of the two-party system. I am exactly what this country needs. I'm sorry I purged you, guest 299. I'm sorry. I accidentally purged you. I don't think I can unpurge, but I can try. No. I'm not entertainment. I'm political dynamism. You can call it entertainment. I'm politics in motion. I am exactly what you need. And I'll tell you, I recognize your views as being important. And I agree that this stuff could easily be a coincidence. The appearance of the tweet messages, all with the numbers 120 and 270 in it. But if you can find me other PZ feeds with other numbers like 119 and 272, I would love to hear it. But when I see numbers like 120 and 270 come out, I'm seeing numerical oddities much like the entire Paris shooting and attack. Friday the 13th. That's absurd. They've chosen that date because these people are sick. The ones that are into numerology are the Illuminati. And they're purposely starting a war because they're covering their financial ass while they continue to be a Ponzi scheme, sucking money in left and right and keeping the gold from the American people. Now, you're not going to get this from Donald Trump, but I'm going to tell you right now. I've got a woman I'm going to play tonight on a video named Karen Hudas. Thank you, 748. Karen Hudas is a former attorney at the World Bank who's been dedicating the past 7 years to stopping the World Bank from keeping your gold from you. Our government has access to $30 trillion worth of gold that is in safekeeping for an agency of our government, and not even a government agency, but a quasi-government private corporation called the Federal Reserve. And the Federal Reserve notes can actually be retrieved at current market value, and we can cash them in for real gold. Now, you may ask yourself, all of you naysayers and devil's advocates, why are we worrying about the gold from World War II? Why? How come we haven't even heard about the gold from World War II? How come we haven't even heard about where the Japanese gold that they acquired from China as well, where that gold went? Well, Karen Hudas is going to tell you about how that gold was seized by the World Bank, and that, believe it or not, American citizens right now are all millionaires. We are. Not the illegal aliens that are trying to get into our country and become citizens. All of us, even naturalized citizens, are millionaires. Trump won't tell you that. In fact, a person like Trump won't even give you a penny. Just like Hillary Clinton never offered any cash, I'm willing to offer $1,000 microloans to the American people to get started. Trump, when he stole my fence idea from me in 2000, I developed it in 2008. It was on our site. We were talking about it in 2008. When he stole the 1,000-mile fence idea, he's basically using me. He's trying to capitalize on me. Yeah, he did. It's right on there. It's documented. I've got videos all the way back to 2008 talking about it. And they're all on YouTube. I've actually got video copies of myself dating back to the original days of our show. But anyway, This whole situation is all about them capitalizing on the key things that I've been developing for 7 years, unable to get into the mainstream media at all. Zero access. And a nation that is completely censored. And not even censored, but beyond your wildest imagination censored. Where the media is actually completely controlled by the CIA. Now, this information is not secret. This is public knowledge that our government, the Senate subcommittee hearings in 1975 and later in 1985, dealing with the CIA manipulation of the media, is well known and documented. I'm not making any of this up. I mean, Frank Church went out of his way during that time to expose what was called Operation Mockingbird, where everything in the media is controlled.
Real concern that planted stories intended to serve a national purpose abroad came home and were circulated here and believed here, because this would mean that the CIA could manipulate the news in the United States by channeling it through some foreign country. And we're looking at that very carefully.
Do you have any people being paid by the CIA who are contributing to a major circulation American journal?
We do have people who submit pieces to two American journals.
Do you have any people paid by the CIA who are working for television networks?
This, I think, gets into the kind of getting into the details, Mr. Chairman, that I'd like to get into in executive session.
At CBS, we had been contacted by the CIA. As a matter of fact, by the time I became the head of the whole news and public affairs operation in 1954, the ships had been established, and I was told about them and asked if I'd carry on with them.
We have quite a lot of detailed information, and we will evaluate it, and we will include any evidence of wrongdoing or any evidence of impropriety in our final report and make recommendations.
Do you have any people being paid by the CIA who are contributing to the national news services, AP and UPI?
Well, again, I think we're getting into the kind of detail, Mr. Chairman, that I'd prefer to handle in executive session.
And they went into a private executive session. That's how hot that conversation was. And then they went on and did another detailed investigation in 1995 of MK Ultra victims, people that have been brainwashed to be sex slaves. Yeah, you believe it's crappy editing? You believe the whole thing was a hoax? Oh, I'm not here to go to Paris. I'm not here to tell you this is a hoax. It looks to me like a credible event. I'm just not sure who the cause of it is. Yeah, I'm sure Brian Williams claims to be a lot of things. It doesn't matter if it was 50 years ago. The fact is they tightened the clamp down on the media right after that. All of these congressional subcommittee hearings I'm telling you about have been pretty much buried. They're only small clips and views of how our country was trying to be transparent during those years. Now it's completely altered and modified. So the reason why I don't do TV news and why I stepped out of voiceover and worked in Hollywood, the reason why I stepped out was because I saw the very technique that they were using to control the media, up close and personal. I was in radio news, and oh yeah, I've done a lot of work in news, but I don't want to talk about it. the reason I left that scene was because they were using cocaine as a lure, and I saw it right in front of my eyes. They tried to have me do blow or whatever they called it, cocaine, forced it in front of me. I said, no, I don't want to do that. They use the coke and the drugs, and in the same way they use sex slaves to control politics and the power elite. If you're in the media, you probably don't see these things because they're going on in closed doors. The fact is that you are spending your time probably, you're just one of the plebeians that do the work. One of the people that go out and do the hard work. You're probably just driving around, driving a truck and, delivering things. I just want you to be aware that the media is wrought with cocaine, corruption. Yeah. Drugs in the media? Yeah. What? Did anyone say? Yeah. So I'm just telling you, they use that hook to control people. And then they continue to control people. And we had an interview from a person who was, earlier on our show, we had an interview from a person who was a journalist, a worldwide journalist, and delivered key information, stories about Libya during Muammar Gaddafi's the end of his life, the end of his days. And he openly said that he lied, and he simply wrote what the CIA told him. And we played that earlier on in the show. It's kind of shocking to see a person talk about, how he had 3 heart attacks and no kids, so he really didn't care what he said, and he didn't care what they were going to do to him. And I have him right in front of me here. And he's willing to tell you more because this is a really good interview with a guy who claims he was an unofficial cover. That's the term he used, unofficial cover for the CIA. Now, our news is so pre-digested and manicured so that you believe everything you see that it wouldn't surprise me if this was a false flag. But I'm going to side with Sarah in believing that it is a real event and people really did die. But at this point, the guy is not a nut. I can tell you, you can say anything you want about him, but he's the most rational person I've seen on the news in a long, long time. And he's outing the real story, the story that everything we see from international newscasters is altered and distorted and controlled by the CIA.
Well, I've been a journalist for about 25 years, and I was educated to lie, to betray, and not to tell the truth to the public. But seeing right now, within the last months, how far, how the German and American media tries to bring war to the people in Europe, to bring war to Russia. This is a point of no return, and I'm going to stand up and say it is not right what I have done in the past.
Finally, a man speaks up and tells the truth in this video. So what I'm saying is the censored news, the censored media will not allow a person like me to enter into the race. They will not push a third party. There was a time when a lot of money could buy a position like a third party, like Ross Perot with his millions. But we're not in this time when a third party is going to form unless it really does form on a grassroots basis. What we've seen with the Democrats, the organizations that they've put together, like the Occupy movement, or the Republicans and their Tea Party nonprofit association, whatever, is a complete sham. And basically, these people are shill groups that were established with big money. The average person right now is not represented in America. And there is no lobbying group to represent the American people at all. That's the reason why you folks haven't seen any money whatsoever from our government. That's because they don't want you to. The reason why I have been censored for all these years is because they don't want this story to spread. the spreading the truth about how we need to form a union in the middle of the political spectrum. They don't want to, in any way, make us listen to the questions that other leaders like Putin is having about the problem in Syria. They would rather we just mindlessly support their hysterical hatred to Muslims. And ironically, they're creating the grounds for a war simply because they have borrowed so much money they can't cover their financial ass any other way. The Occupy operatives and the Ferguson paid rioters put out by George Soros, and the Tea Party gatherings, which oftentimes were complete networks of conservative groups that just splintered into that, morphed into that Republican splinter group. Yeah, I'm aware of the upcoming 2015 United Nations Climate Change Conference. I don't believe the CO2 emission restrictions are relevant to our nation simply because we have our own system in place. And I don't submit to a global world order or a new world order or any type of United Nations climate control system. In no ways would I ever, in any way, adopt cap and trade or carbon point legislation. Simply because you, the end user, it's not your muffler that's causing global climate change. It's something far more insidious, something so obvious that you don't even see it. It's right in front of you every day, in the skies above you. And I would be remiss in not bringing up the most important issue that's going on, which is the willful climate modification of the world we live in. Literally turning our nation upside down with this terrible pollution. It's beyond belief. Every day where I live, I see these things in the sky flying over me because I'm in the beginning of the country. We're in the Pacific Northwest, the farthest reaches of the nation. And they're able to put these things in the air right above our heads. And then they spread across the nation. And what they do is bring precipitation in. They're chemical drops that are literally being dumped on our head every day in certain areas to bring precipitation to the Northwest and to starve the entire Midwest section of our country. They are trying to keep our country weakened by going after the most powerful economy in our country, California. So these things are typically in our area and in the Southeast, generally. But occasionally you see them anywhere because oftentimes they're dropping lithium on you, which is to make you stupid, so that you will obviously, fall for their little scheme. So this is one of the most insidious efforts that they put together, and they've got another method that they're keeping, out there so that you get incredibly dumbed down, and that's fluoride in our water system. They've got fluoride in our water system. Now, there is no evidence, no scientific evidence whatsoever that fluoride is going to stop cavities when it's in your water system. There's not one scientific review that'll verify this. Lithium, yes, lithium, really. I can bring you a NASA spacecraft expert who admits that they dump lithium in the atmosphere, if you'd like me to give him testimony. They've been dropping things in our atmosphere for a long, long time. It's not something that they just started. But lithium in our atmosphere to dumb us down and to make us complacent, fluoride in our water system to make us complacent. So no matter what we say here that's intelligent, I'm going to get all these the carpetbaggers coming in here going, "Oh, you're an idiot. You're insane. You're a freak. No one's ever going to vote for you. Nobody cares about you. You're a whack job. You're a dreamer. You're insane. You're a lunatic." Yeah, because they can't even comprehend critical thinking. They're that dumbed down. They really say that all the time, yeah. We just spent a 4-hour show, going on 4 hours on the recorded version. Yeah, see, we got some right there. You're delusional, exactly. They're so stupid that they can't even comprehend what I'm saying. So they sit there with their little narrow tunnel vision and their blinders on, and they're going, "Well, this does not conform to my model." And they're listening to all the talking points the propaganda machine is telling people, and they're like complete robots. "Yes, I am programmed to be Republican or Democrat." They're the cattle waiting to be fed and brought into the slaughter section to be taken down. They are the 95% of the people that the people like Ted Turner of CNN News, original founder of Turner Cable Network. He is the guy who wants to get rid of 95% of the population, and they are his sheep. Yes, of course, population is terrible. We must all be eliminated. They literally are beyond libtards. It's like they're cultivating a population of people that'll be like lemmings and go right off the cliff. Calling me crazy is insane because, number one, I don't have any history of mental illness. Number two, just because you don't understand what I'm saying doesn't mean anyone's crazy. Using names to call people is an example of an uneducated mind. And that's the same thing the Democrats do. You know, when you question Barack Obama's birth certificate, they call you a birther. When you question the official 911 Commission report on the Trade Center attack, well, you're a truther. You're one of those whack jobs. When you question the JFK assassination, I'm amazed they aren't calling us JFKers. But it looks too much like jerkers, so I don't think they can call us JFKers. It's not politically correct to say jerkers. They're so concerned about political correctness that they have literally stifled logical thought and critical thinking. So I am one of those few people that is willing to go out on a limb and take it to the limit. Push this free speech to the limit, as long as I'm not hurting anybody or threatening anybody, which I never do. I'm dedicated to nonviolence. I'll never, ever encourage you to be violent. I would never do that. Then we have a chance to actually begin to change the dynamic of this political structure, to work toward common good, and to share common visions for this country. If you're a fiscal conservative, I can relate to you. I don't want you to be taxed to the oblivion. I don't want you draining your tax dollars. I don't want anyone in the middle class or anyone who earns less than $100,000 taxed. My flat tax completely prevents that from happening. Anyone over $100,000 pays a 10% tax across the board. Businesses, nonprofits, and individuals. I've been violated, yeah. Oh, totally. I've been totally violated. What happened recently this past year, 3 months ago with the swatting, was a complete violation of my rights, in my opinion. We are spreading the word right now. If I go out 943, I run the risk of losing this effort. Once my head is blown off, I will be of no value to you, I assure you. And there may not be a lot of people coming along this pathway in life like me, because my ability to do this is actually quite unusual. I can't possibly consider running for local politics. You don't understand. You guys are so thick, you don't get it. I ran for local politics and they stole 90% of my signs. You don't get it, man. I actually went out of my way to run for local office to prove to you that they are corrupt to the core. Right to the core. So don't forget that. No, I'm not a local politician. I'm not a corrupt crony or a career politician. I'm a unique, one-of-a-kind individual who's both honest, sincere, and inventive, and who could guarantee success for this nation if you would get behind this plan and not just be mindless guppies and go, oh, well, we better go with the other guy because he's the lesser of two evils, or she's the lesser of two evils. The logic here is not fixing problems. You voters are going to have to change. It's not going to be some top-down change from a big media hype company. It's going to be from your end. You're going to have to change. And if you don't believe you can change, then they've already done what they had to do. Lowering your intelligence, your ability to think, lithium, fluoride, you name it, they're using it, and they will employ every means possible for you to go, oh yes, we need a war. That's the solution to peace. I don't believe that at this point we even have a talking point in the news that's relevant to anything I'm dealing with on a daily basis. They don't talk about GMOs. I'm against GMOs. They don't talk about legalizing marijuana, recreational marijuana. Bernie said he might do it. It took him forever to do that. I've been pushing that campaign for 8 years. I personally don't believe that big pharma and psychiatry is fixing the problem. Frankly, there are no instances where psychotics have been cured by a psychiatrist. There's not one instance where that science is proven to be true. They've actually removed brains surgically to prevent psychosis, like a lobotomy. But that's not what I consider an evolution of psychology. And I believe big pharma and psychiatry is, in many ways, just masking symptoms. That's all they're able to do. You know, I'm not going to be mayor, guys. I'm not going to be in politics beyond what I'm doing right now unless I get, huge turnarounds. But I doubt that's going to happen. I'm literally living in the den of inequity. I'm living in the heart of the Republican-Democrat brain set, locked up right here in Washington, in constipated Washington. Psychology is a valid profession, yes. In fact, they've proven that they can alter your ability to function using behavior modification. Hitler developed, Hitler's sociologists or early psychologists were very active in developing brain control and used behavior modification. And the Henry Ellis School tended to dominate the post-Freudian era, where you see people with neuroses that are actually cured of their neuroses now. So it has proven to work in many instances. But they've also used it in a very, very dark way to control your mindset using demographic studies, focus groups, and controlled mind, what is called predictive programming. So many of you are just walking around with the talking points that you have in your head. You haven't been able to bring new talking points in. So you hear me going, oh my God, this guy must be insane. He's saying things I don't understand. He's delusional. Oh God. So your brain is starting to gyrate. I can see that. I don't really want to interview a psychologist, but thank you. I would like you to interview a psychologist. Yeah, I'm just working on a plan to keep the role going here in our show and maintain a nightly presence on the internet. And we're gonna actually pull a couple of people out of the show right now, and other people, it's not a reflection on you, but there are people that I'm watching, that I'm tracking 2 or 3 stalkers that are coming back on a nightly basis. Because we've been doing so many shows, we get a number of people stalking us. And I'm not banning anyone that you might even think is a real person. What they are people nesting in our room who are psychotic and are probably going to be charged with a crime because they've got numerous libel suits against. I've got numerous cases of libel against them right now. I haven't filed any suits though. Yeah, I had to pull certain people out of the show. Yeah. So yeah, lots of fun stuff. As you can see, the point-counterpoint session is incredibly intense. Now, Sarah and I both agree that we need a change. A third party is necessary, but we don't agree on the talking points. We don't have a common view on any one particular tragedy. I do agree that this is a real tragedy. At this point, it's an even bigger tragedy if it was faked. What city is Titty City? I've never heard of a Titty City. Well, you can be crazy all you want. I'm not here to tell you whether you are or not. How can a third party get anything due as a practical matter? Okay, well, that's a very good question. QQ Me Now wants to know some real serious solutions to the country. But I don't have time to tell you. I've got another show tomorrow night, Tuesday and Wednesday. Wednesday's a good time. Tuesday, I'll talk to you about our plan to fix the homestead problem in our country where people are not able to get a home. And then I have another solution for our healthcare crisis, a bypass for our healthcare crisis with our mobile medical unit system and public doctors. And then I have another solution that will spark free enterprise with an infrastructure bank offering 2% loans to U.S. businesses hiring U.S. citizens at a living wage of $15 an hour. And all of these plans can be implemented from the executive branch. We can get the housing solved with HUD, and I can allocate funds directly. I don't need congressional approval to do this. I can kickstart it in states like Michigan and Detroit. Start working on Detroit right away. We've got a plan with the mobile medical units I can implement out of the VA, out of the Veterans Administration. And with a super fund of $135 billion passed in 2007, there's still a couple billion I can work with. And I can tell you that normally I don't take on conspiracies every night, and we only isolate that to Conspiracy Monday, where we're going to play you a bunch of false flag videos tonight that'll talk about possibilities of cover-up, deceit by our government, and CIA manipulation. Thank you. Good night. And don't be in any way derogatory toward us, or I will purge or ban you. And I'm only doing that because this is not about demoralization. In fact, you've got enough of that in life. You really don't need that. The problem is they're demoralizing every American in this country. They won't give you a penny. They won't give you a low-cost education. They don't want to give you free health care. They're basically treating you like crap and expecting you to believe that Hillary's going to save the day when she has no history of doing anything at all. So they're deceiving you and trying to trap you into the leftist wing of the Communist Democratic Party. Okay, I'll purge you. There you go. But I can tell you that this whole evolution of mind and how we're beginning the process of awareness and awakening, like I said, we both agree on solving problems, but we aren't in agreement on what the problem is. And that's normal. I don't think it's a terrible problem to disagree with somebody on a perception.
There have been shootings in Paris.
Okay, we'll play that a little later, the live link one. All right, so first we're going to kick off the show with this journalist behind me, because I played at the beginning. I'm going to play it again because it's an important issue to know that the journalists, international journalists, are being manipulated on a daily basis. They're called hang on. Yeah, they're called official covers. And that's the term that the CIA has given them. And there are no real journalists left in the world. The real ones are being killed off, like Michael Hastings, the guy who developed the Rolling Stone article that General McChrystal said that Obama was disengaged from the war in Afghanistan. Michael Hastings died a very strange death. No one knows to this day how Michael Hastings died. But many journalists like him are being what are called suicided, killed. They make it look like an accident, but it's really they're getting rid of people like that systematically. So what you're seeing now is completely controlled, except for the internet. What we're seeing right now, I'm not in any way controlled by any authority or any kind of overseeing. I get no money from any of this. I've never made a penny from this effort, not one penny. And it's kind of tragic that, you know, this venue is kind of on ice. We're really on the thin ice. In about 2 years, it's very possible that all our YouTube videos will be yanked because of what they deem a copyright violation of the Trans-Pacific Partnership, which is a global world authority. And they're going to literally yank all kinds of websites too. Matt Drudge of the Drudge Report has openly said that his website is under attack. That he's not going to be able to actually... Yeah, we'll do a little music for the ending of this show here. But he's under attack on a daily basis, Drudge is. He believes that he's going to end up, entrepreneurs like him on the internet are going to be a thing of the past. Anyone questioning the government will be either shunned or censored and eventually probably hunted down and terminated. I'm serious. This is what a police state does. This is the deal, 6716. 8 years ago, I had 12 viewers in my show, and everyone said nobody's ever going to listen to you. 8 years ago, 6 years ago, we got 40 people in our room and said, "No, nobody cares about you." 3 years ago, we've been getting 70 people, and now we're getting 200. And you're wondering why 100,000 is not possible for me? Because, like I said, thank you. We're being censored on a daily basis. I can't express that any better than I already have. Now, I've got death threat people coming in here on a nightly basis. I've got people posting hate on the internet daily about me. We're never going to get any public exposure from the mainstream media. It's up to you, the voter, to express an interest in the third party and to direct people to this website and to this internet chat show. It's happening. So if you understand censorship, you'll understand why I purge the people that run around demoralizing us. There won't be a next time. This is your last chance. There won't be another time for you to ever start a political movement in America. This is it. And it's going to slip from under your fingers in the next 4 or 5 years if you don't do something. The people that we're dealing with are so powerful that they have unparalleled means. Money is the big motivating factor in the world, and they know that. And they can control the message. And they control the destiny of you and your lives and your children's lives, and they can bring on whatever ridiculous concept they want. They are the New World Order. They are the monarchy that's been rebranded by themselves, and now they think they can reissue their order of global dominance and try to attain what they've never have fully attained. And no person has ever fully attained the destruction of our world from a global world authority. Julius Caesar tried it. Napoleon tried it. No one has ever succeeded, and they will not succeed as well. They are fighting something far greater than their evil, psychotic ways. They are fighting awareness. They are fighting the growing awareness and the awakening of the American people. And you know something? They did not have the ability to control the internet. They didn't even predict it was coming. But they're powerful and they're very capable of digging deep and controlling the legislators that are currently giving away your rights and freedoms daily in the Democratic and Republican Party. Rodney, that's not acceptable here. We understand the USA is the New World Order silver stack in your mind, but you never really acquired that total control. You've got a couple clauses that just don't add up. The government literally is, the United States of America is literally in state capture. And we're facing an unparalleled case of the United States of America itself is bankrupt, but the United States corporation is now nearly bankrupt. And that's the convergence that's going on. They don't know how to fix it unless they start a war. And they've been doing the wars for a long time out of their playbook, but there's an even bigger problem now. In their effort to control the entire environment and do weather modification, there's a tremendous natural backlash on what they're doing. And ironically, it may lead to depopulation, 90% of the planet, like they intend, but it could also turn on them and put them in retreat and force them out of their hiding places and ultimately burn them with a hard laser of truth. And that day very well likely could come. But it's going to take the American people to do it. Genocidal maniacs who are so powerful that money doesn't mean anything to them. I mean, it's literally, it doesn't even faze them in their life. They're so powerful that they will literally try to eradicate everybody that they can't control. Yeah, I know you think you run everything, but you can't control us, and that's the point. So unfortunately, your psychotic delusion that you've got control over the government or in the world is actually your greatest deficit. Good luck with your attempt to worship Lucifer or whatever you evildoers are trying to do. People like this journalist are your worst enemy. He doesn't have any reason to not tell the truth. Okay, listen to him and then a lot of other stuff tonight for this evening of video and chat. Thank you for coming in, everybody.
To manipulate people, to make propaganda,